Yo. Max, has anyone ever pushed your face in a sandbox like good old school playground bullying style? I got bullied, but not not in the sandbox though. That sounds like shit. That sounds like low tier. Like you low rolled your bully. That sucks, bro. How did the hockey game go? When? Monday? Oh, not great. We lost with 2 seconds left. That's fine. Dude, winning and losing in hockey, like, doesn't matter at all. I play, like, literally every day. The games have no weight. I just want to play well. Max, I need you to make your cameo in the Sora 2 program. I don't know what those words mean. Hey Max, I don't know if they will have an alpha build today with all the borkiness in retail. Yeah, I mean you might be right. Alpha's down currently though, so usually that happens when there's a build out or coming out. Did you see that everyone's getting the werebear? Yo, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys. I haven't paid attention to Legion Remix, and I don't care at all what's going on. Like, that's part of WoW that I don't care about. Like, I care about like new seasons in WoW. I don't care about like niche, like collection things. It doesn't matter to me. There's no new content. Everyone is just getting the Feral and Bear Mage Tower appearances. Yeah, cool. Cool. Or W, I guess? W. W Werebear. Max, did Blizzard ever make an announcement on Gallywix? Like, was it a mistake or something, or a comment? Um, I mean, it was obviously a mistake. They haven't been like, I mean, yeah, it was a mistake. They basically, in dev speak, have said that because they're not usually going to come out and just say like someone massively fucked up, but like clearly someone massively fucked up. Are you going to talk business today? Hell yeah, I'm talking business, baby. One second, I'm going to order some groceries. Because I'm like that. You know what I mean? Because I'm fucking like that. Fucking love groceries, dude. Fuck. Yo, anybody watching Love is Blind? Anyone caught up? Not caught up, don't spoil it. I live in Denver and I died of cringe after like 2 episodes. Why, do you know those people? I've never met a single person like those people. Oh, interesting. Should we get a Erewhon smoothie today, chat? Let's fucking get one of these bitches. Max, did you see Fandy streamed herself dropping a baby last night? I still can't believe that really happened. Shit's crazy. What? She streamed herself like dropping a child? What are you fucking talking about? Oh, she gave birth. That's what you meant when you said she dropped a kid? Like, yo, there's a new content drop. Like, yo, new kid dropped. No, she gave birth live. What? What? I mean, okay, clearly they like didn't show anything because of obvious reasons, but that's I just still can't believe that how I found out about this is someone in my chat said, "Did you see that she dropped a baby live on Twitch?" That's just a crazy. I mean, that's how I would say something like that. So, okay, that's fine. They showed way more than you thought. I mean, I kind of want to. What is this? What I'm fascinated in what this could even look like. Like, are the clips like safe for? I don't even know how to. She's in an inflated tub. Water broke, baby time. Okay, they're like taking care of her as she's having contractions. Okay. They're just helping her. Wow, this was a long ordeal. This was like 6 hours of this shit. And then she's in the tub, and then there's an actual doctor. Oh, and then she's sitting there with her baby. Well, that's cool. I will say there's a lot of people there, though, for... Yeah, any women in here? Anyone... Is that something you all want when you're like, you know, going through that? You want like 10 people in the room? I feel like I'd want that shit to be kind of low key. I wouldn't want like 10 people there watching that shit. Ten people in the room, but streaming to thousands. Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously, I'm not hating on it. It's people can do whatever they want. I mean, pretty brave if you think about it. That's like breaking a barrier. The Phase guys watched. What? Oh, that's kind of hilarious. I was trying to think of like who would be the funniest people to possibly co-stream this, and it's probably Phase Clan. INW, dude. W Fandy too. Fandy's in the stream all the time. Shout out World of Warcraft. That's a World of Warcraft baby right there. Let's go. Yo, Max, talk about the elitism now that Blizzard bugged out the Druid Mage Tower forms and made them available to everyone. Yeah, I don't fucking care, man. That's cool. I guess it's cool. If you guys got an appearance you haven't had before, that's awesome. And if you're mad that other people got it for free, then fuck Blizzard. Both of those. But whichever way you're feeling, I'm here for you. This is fucking insane. Like the fact that you guys are just like someone had a kid on Twitch. It's just insane to think about. Would you say Echo is a good guild name? Hell no, bro. Hell no. Like it goes hard in that it's just like a one word guild, you know? Like sometimes that can sound good. But nah. Dude, actually while we're hating on Echo, they just turbo stole the Thundercats logo, right? If we're just keeping it a buck, they fucking just that's what it is. Dude, maybe I'm crazy, but here. Thundercats logo. Yeah, okay, bro, this is the Thundercats logo. Like, bro, if I was like if I started talking about Echo and I just showed this logo, you guys would have just gone along with it like, yeah, he's talking about Echo. But it's just so similar. Let's see, Thundercats logo and Echo Esports logo. Like, bro, look at it's pretty similar, dude. That's all I'll say. Whatever, dude. Liquid logo is just the horse from chess. The horse from chess. Yeah, I'm not. Bro, you just asked me to randomly hate on Echo. I'm here. I'm here for that every time of the day. I don't think Limit we didn't choose the name Liquid, but I don't think Limit was a cool name either. I wanted our guild back in the day. We did a vote for our guild name, and the majority people voted for our guild name to be Elephant Herd, and then our GM just overruled everyone and named it Limit. But we should have been Elephant Herd. Liquid Max is over. It's Chess Horse Max. Is it really? Team Liquid logo. Yeah, I mean it is kind of just the chess horse. Yo, has anyone heard about this Blue Protocol game? I heard some good things about the gameplay. It's been in development for like a long time. It's got like that Weeb aesthetic, which I like. I'm just not into that. But like I heard it has like a cool I heard it has like good gameplay. So you got sponsored? I do not have a sponsor to play this game. I wish I did, I guess, cuz I'm it looks like something I might want to try out for the gameplay. Plus there's like a little gotcha in that game, and I usually wail out on games a little bit if they're fun, but didn't it launch in Japan and then shut down? Oh, that's not good. What's the most I've spent on a game? A good bit. Nothing like crazy. Like, I don't think I've spent... Okay, this is crazy's relative. So... There's no, I haven't gone, like, super crazy. More than 10K? Yeah, more than 10K. But, like, less than, like, 20K. That is crazy. Right, but it's not like... I just don't want anyone to think I'm, like, spent, like, 6 figures or something. It's over, like, a super long period of time, too. Didn't Shroud drop 40K or some shit on Lost Ark? Shroud dropped 20K on Lost Ark. But I'm not using Shroud's video game spending as like, I mean, so this may come as a surprise to you, but I cannot go band for band with that guy. So, you know, that he could probably do things that I cannot. Was Lost Ark the game you spent the most V-Bucks on? Spent a good amount on Lost Ark, yeah. Not that much, though. I spent a bit on Raid Shadow Legends like 5 years ago. They paid me... I still spent less in the game than they paid me to play it. By a lot. Like, they paid me... like 5 or 6 times more than what I spent. But I still spent some in that game. I would say that's generally true. I usually don't spend more on games than what they pay me to play it. I played AFK Arena back in the day, but that was like a long time ago, and I wasn't... realistically spending... I was spending like a decent portion of my income that probably wasn't good, but it wasn't like a ton of money because I was broke as fuck. How about Diablo Immortal? Nah, luckily I saw through that before. It's just not a good enough game. I mean, that's the thing though, like I don't mind, like, so this is probably not surprising because you guys because people do this, but like whaling or moderately whaling in games, if you have the means to, is like insanely fun. That's like why people do it. So I'm prone to do that every now and then. Very rarely, but I'll do that shit. Whaled in Destiny Rising. Yeah, what is Destiny Rising? I was kind of getting a look at that. It just looked like Destiny, but I didn't understand how they could make it a gacha game. And also, why would you play like a shooter game on your phone? It's a beta version of Destiny LOL playing on your phone. Oh, I'm assuming all the people play it on PC. Yeah. All right, so we're hoping there's an alpha build today. So I checked for updates on alpha. There are none. And when you try to launch it, you try to log in and it says incompatible servers, which is usually what happens when there's a new build pushed, but it hasn't been pushed live yet. And we looked at internally, there was a build yesterday pushed internally. So all of those are signs that there will be a build today. Is it 100%? No, but it's like 95%. There's one time 2 expansions ago where this exact situation happened, and like for some reason the build didn't come out until tomorrow, and they ended up making a blue post about the fact there wasn't a build at like 7 p.m. So that's happened like one time, but like every other time it happens. So there do be a build coming, I believe. But the build could be like one line of updates. I guess that's possible. That's not the expectation, though. The expectation is never there will be a build, but then nothing will change. Usually in betas and alphas, every single build is pretty deep. I also think these next few notes are going to be very interesting because seeing the direction they go with the UI and add-on stuff, and the direction they go with some of the class reworks is like the changes they make now are going to be very indicative of like what they actually want the expansion to be. And I think especially after hearing about all the classes last week, clearly they're not mass simplifying the game. They're not making classes really easy. Like that narrative was just completely blown out of proportion. That was just, it's basically just fucking fake news. But they did do it to a few specs, which makes you wonder if like that was a mistake or like what. But like either way, if it was a mistake or if like they went too far or whatever, that's the exact kind of thing that you should expect to be addressed like today. So. Hey Max, if you're okay with it, can you tell me if the Hasan thing was a shock collar or not in your opinion? Asking because you own big dogs and you would know better. What? What are you... Hasan, I'm assuming you're talking about the streamer. Yeah, he did some shit. All right, so if I know anything about Hasan, I met that guy a few times, but I don't like know that dude. But I know that every time I see his name, it's like something completely like not important happens, and then it turns into like these few people that he hates, and these people hate him, and they turn it out to like they're trying to like cancel his character at any time they can, and he probably also does that to them. I don't know. I don't know anything about this dude. So I'm imagining I'm just going to move on with my life, but just assume that this is some completely irrelevant drama that someone is trying to like cancel him because they view the world differently. And then I'm just going to move on. Max, check this. Yeah, I'm not going to. I just don't really care. They're claiming he shock collars his dog, but there have been reports the dog just hurt himself on his bed. I mean, if anyone's actually like, you can have your own opinion on like dog training or whatever. I think most people nowadays don't use actually shock collars, like literally shocking your dog. I think that's probably like I this is my opinion. I don't know a ton about it. I'm not educated, but that's like doesn't sound very humane. But I do know there's a lot of trainers that use like like collars that like vibrate. It's basically just to get your dog's attention, right? And you don't need to like shock your fucking dog to get its attention, right? The yelp made it sound like a shock. What? Dude, dogs yelp all the time. like Reptar specifically just gets really scared sometimes and yelps when like nothing's happening, you know? Max, watch the clip. No, I'm not going to. Um, Not saying anything about Hasan, but you'd be surprised how badly some people treat pets. I know it might be rare, but fuck all those people straight to hell. Yeah, I think what it is like it's basically people that are selfish. They get dogs because they want a companion, and they usually just don't know the work that comes along with it. And then if you put zero work into it, you get them as a puppy. You're like, oh, it's a cute little puppy. But then they stop being puppies. And then because you thought they were so cute and you didn't try, you didn't train them. And now they're like these adult children living in your house, peeing and pooping everywhere, and they bark and they're loud and they don't listen to you. And then you obviously people who didn't see that coming grow resentment towards the animal. And then now they don't really care about the dog having a good life. They just want the dog to not be as much of a nuisance in there. And then that's where in theirs. And I think that's where like probably most of it comes from outside of people that are just like bad people and mistreat animals or whatever like that. I just mean like this is the way this logically happens to most people. It's just people being naive kind of and selfish. Um, and yeah, the dog hurt herself. You can see it in the clip. Yeah, I'm not watching the clip. It's not like I said. I just from the way chat's reacting to it too. I can already tell that this. I can already tell that most of the dislike for. Just from the vibe from this situation and it being talked about is most of the like arrows being shot in his direction are people that want to shoot arrows in his direction, and it has very little to do with the situation. They're not like I don't know. I'm not really going to entertain that. Is there a new build today? We believe so, yeah. That being said, I don't know how long I'm going to sit around waiting for it. But probably a little bit. We can probably hang out a little bit. If you'd watch it, you could see it has nothing to do with this persona. No, you're not understanding what I'm saying. Like, okay, let's say someone has a clip of any kind where it looks like maybe they did something bad or maybe they didn't. The issue I have with it is all of the people that are certainly involved in calling him out for it that are like, yes, finally, yes, there's something I can use to attack this person. And then other people will get involved. Let's say if it literally looks like he's like abusing an animal, which by the way would be really fucked up or whatever. there are like legitimate people that are like, I don't know who this guy is, but fuck anyone that abuses an animal. Those people totally justify whatever. The issue is you could absolutely tell that the majority of the people involved are just going to be, they were praying for anything. It doesn't matter what it was. They're just like, please, please let there be something that I can get mad at this person for, you know? It's like you hate someone so much, you just want any way to go at them. And that's just like fucking pathetic, you know? But also W hating. It is high level hating. You did the same with the pirate situation? Well, I didn't really care too much about the pirate situation initially. Like, I actually heard the initial conversation with that one classic player and pirate, and I was under the impression that pirate did nothing wrong because that classic player sounded like such an idiot. And then I found out pirate software called fired up a dipshit for something he didn't even understand. So then unfortunately I was forced to hate on him for the rest of my life. Bro, pirate software fell off so hard. Yeah. Just think, bro. Just think if he was a little bit better at classic WoW. And that just imagine he didn't wake up that day and he woke up a little late and wasn't in that dungeon group. Just imagine he went out to get groceries instead of stream at that time. Just imagine, like, literally anything. Imagine if he just used a mana gem. You know? Like, literally anything. And people would have just still been cool with that guy to this day. It's basically that one situation. Like, obviously what actually caused it was hubris, right? Like, he just couldn't admit he was wrong. He couldn't say my bad. Like, all that shit happened, and clearly it just showed that he's, like... But the whole, like, people attacking him for being a Nepo baby and, like, constantly looking to shit on him is basically because people dislike him so much because of the fact that he just couldn't admit he was wrong. That's basically... That's really what happened. But all I'm saying is alternate reality shit. He could have just simply not been in that dungeon at that time. He could have had to go eat. He could have done anything. And he could have been in another group that even wiped, but it wouldn't have looked that bad on his part. And none of this would have happened. So it's crazy that, like, basically one situation... Yeah. He lost to himself because he became so dislikable. Yeah. And that's how it works. I mean, it turns out you have to kind of be likable to at least some people to make it on Twitch, right? Turns out on a platform where people can choose to watch whoever they want, being likable is pretty important. I mean, he still has a decent view count. Dude, W him. Huge potty guest, though. Dude, people were actually trying to get him on the pod, like, before all this happened. We kind of lucked out. Like, I'm pretty sure I opposed it, and I knew nothing about this guy. like there was, I forget it was Dorky or Drados or someone was like, before all this happened, they're like, yo, we should get Pirate Software as a guest. He like used to work at Blizzard. And I was like, I like watched like a couple clips of him and I'm just like, I don't know. This guy seems kind of phony. And then and then we didn't get him. But Dorky said we should have got him on after all of this. Actually, pretty true. To be honest, you did have Asmon on the pod before his ultra right-wing arc. I mean, I think a decent amount of people could have saw that coming, but yeah, we did. That was a good episode about World of Warcraft. That's another thing. We should have Asmon on now. That would be a hell of a fucking... That'd be a hell of an episode. Hey Max, I know it's kind of edge case, but people should be talking more about the add-on impacts for folks like Undaunted. Oh, we did talk about it. People should be talking about it more. I guess that's hard to argue with. Sure. The new Potty C is up. Oh yeah, that is launching today. Wait a second. Is it actually live? YouTube Potty C. Oh, the Skarsgård episode. Is Skarsgård the big thing? Yes and no. So, first of all, this Skarsgård episode is fucking amazing. You should listen to it. He's a huge yapper. Just a great podcast guest. However, yeah, because he no longer works at Blizzard. We didn't dive too deep on like a lot of the Blizzard stuff, but he was speaking pretty freely. Do a live react. Oh no, that's embarrassing. We also launched. Wait, did we launch?
Are you tired? Tired of depleting keys?
Wait, sorry, I haven't seen this. What the fuck is going on at the beginning of this thing?
Are you tired? Tired of depleting keys? Tired of waiting and the wiping in the raid? Frank, what have you done here? Tired of wiping in the raid? Tired of having no swag? Well, these are issues of the past. Introducing the first ever Potty C merch collection.
Yeah!
Hoodie, done. T-shirt, done. Socks? Also done for some reason. Purchase now at pottyc.com. This will have no impact on your performance as a web player.
Why are there AI farmers in the fucking picture?
For some reason. Purchase now at pottyc.com. This will have no impact on your performance as a web player.
Okay, we do. Okay, first of all, so we do have merch, and it is fucking... I'm not even making this up. It is very, very high quality. Like, let me show you this fucking shit. The shirts feel like they're fucking quilted, bro. All right. So, we have the drop the link. I think isn't it pottyc.com? Yeah. Pottyc.com. Pixel hoodie, Pottyc logo tee, player tee, and then we got the 2 hats. We have the Pottyc Pixel Sword mouse pad. We have the Potty Tea Time mug, and I don't know why we have Dratno socks, but we do have Dratno socks. But here, I don't know if you can actually see this on the shirts, but like, bro, they are like, it's not like, what's the, like, a really thin, it's a really thick, like, feels woven t-shirt. Like, I don't know. It's just really nice. Like, the shirts are fucking sick. Is it cotton? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's made of. I should know that. Yeah, dude, with the little swords on the back, I fucking love this shit. And then we got 2 hats. We got the Potty C hat, the little pixel swords, and we have the Potty Tea Time red hat. Both of them are like regular snapbacks in the back. Get the idea? It says 100% cotton. Okay, yeah, it's 100% cotton. W. What an ad. What an ad, man. Yeah, that's it though. Potty C, it's Potty Tea Time. Grab this shit. Potty merch. Dude, I actually love the mouse pad. No EU shipping. I don't know anything about that. Hey, Max, opinion on this take. If the barrage weak aura is a problem, so is the rotation assistant. Ooh, okay, so you're saying if a weak aura that tells you when to press barrage is a problem. I could understand if the second part of that sentence was actually love it, but not wearing any of it. Well, I wasn't allowed to wear any of it today until it was announced, which it just was. So I guess I could go change. But I'm not going to. Okay, if you were going to say the barrage weak aura is a problem, so is the fact that you need one, then like of course that's true. But like aren't they changing Arcane to where you don't? Do these purchases pay Frank's salary? I believe the merch is gonna go to all of us, so in a way, yeah. Max, you need to clean your room. What a mess. Is it? I have a box in the background and a dog bowl. Seems fine. Max, do you plan on grinding Fellowship when it comes out? Grinding? I don't know about grinding. Like, for me, what grinding means is I'm going to play this day all day, every day until I get bored of it. The answer to that is probably no. But I will say, Fellowship is quite fun. I don't know how much replayability at a certain point it's going to have. I will say, actually, maybe one thing that would get me to play Fellowship a lot more, and this is probably not surprising at all to anyone who's ever Mythic Plussed, is like, if I have a couple people that have a similar schedule as me, and I know I could log on and game with whenever I wanted, that had an adequate skill level and were really fun to learn games with, I would love to do that. But they don't have any rating content out yet, and I did a bit of the dungeons, and I feel like it's the same thing as Mythic Plus. Like, here's my issue with Mythic Plus, or one of my issues with Mythic Plus. What's really, really fun in Mythic Plus is you're doing these dungeons to the point where you reach, like, you know, you go through the dungeon, you do it on a high enough key. Once stuff starts to try to kill you, you learn how to live those things, and then you try to do as much damage as possible. And then you get to a point where you're good at all of those things. And then you just keep doing it over and over and over again. For me, I find it a lot more interesting to overcome a really, really hard challenge one time and then stop. Continuing to do it for me loses a lot of value every time you do it. That's why I like doing the race and then I dip. But like up until the time of doing the race, it's amazing. It's nothing compares with it. But I wouldn't want to do farm. You know, like farm sucks. Everyone hates farm for the same reason. You're just doing something you've already done. It's simple, right? So Fellowship has the Mythic Plus problem for me where, like, I played that game for like 15 hours and I feel like I've seen all the dungeons and everything the dungeons are going to do. I really enjoyed playing my class, but like, what's keeping me from logging in and doing that every day? Oh, I can get one higher key. Okay. But like, a lot of that is like waiting on other people to like play well as well, unless you have a group that's like of the same skill level. That's like the most you enjoy Mythic Plus, I think. I think Fellowship is really cool. I'm a big fan. I want them to succeed. But like I don't think for me, or really for a lot of people, it's like main game energy or something you're gonna go crazy hard at. I just think maybe when it releases. But I kind of doubt it's done a replacement of WoW. It's something you do in addition. I've said this before, but I think the best way Fellowship will be enjoyed by me, and I think a lot of WoW players, is like after a WoW season comes out, it's like, okay, this season's been out for 2 months. I'm kind of mixing in some other games, and it's like, oh, wait, there's a Fellowship season? Fuck yeah. And you go hard at that for like a couple weeks or something. Similar to like an ARPG season. It's like, it's just like a PoE or ARPG or Diablo season in the middle of like a WoW season, which a lot of people do. It's kind of like that. But it will be really fun. And those things are great to have, you know? Speaking of ARPG seasons, do you have a sponsored stream coming of an ARPG season? I don't think so. I have a few sponsored streams coming up. I have a sponsored stream for Fellowship, I believe. I had one other that got canceled, and I think those are the only two on my radar. I might play I might play Blue Protocol. I don't have a sponsored stream for it, but I watched some like gameplay of it, and it looked like kind of fun. The raids look kind of cool, but they're not sponsoring me, and I feel like they could sponsor me. You want to play Blue Protocol tomorrow, Dork? I'll try it. The only thing about it is I didn't I don't like the Weeb aesthetic. Like, I mean, I don't really care, like, 'cause I don't really care about like I don't really care about aesthetics really in a lot of games. It's very, very minor behind like gameplay and all those other things. But I get the vibe that a large part of this game's appeal is that people want to play it because of the Weeb stuff. And that's just kind of a red flag to me, because then that means it's like, okay, well, maybe the game doesn't have that much merit. It's actually just they created a game so people can be in like an anime universe, which means, again, I don't really look down on that or anything. It just means nothing to me. I don't care about that. So it means maybe it's like a sign the game would be lower quality. Lower quality. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm looking for the game that matters the most to me, it's like just about gameplay, but I feel like for example, when I was looking up reviews about this game, a bunch of reviews on Reddit came back to like, yeah, if you enjoy anime games, you will like this game. And I'm just sitting here thinking like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, so I'm like thinking the game might not be as good for me, because clearly some of the allure is for people that want to play fucking anime games, and that, again, it doesn't mean anything to me. So it means there's a less chance for me to like it. All right, Dorky, we can play Blue Protocol, but you can't goon to this game one time. We can hold hands in that game. You want to hold hands, bro? Okay, so if we're going to play this game, or try playing this game tomorrow, but we also know that a couple things. Number one, they're not sponsoring me, so we can kind of freely do all this shit. Let's look over some claims. So some people said that Blue Protocol released in Japan and it was a failed release. Like, it released and then died. So I guess some concern I have is, are they like, okay, well, clearly this wasn't enough to stick in Japan, which, by the way, is a lot more friendly to, like, any kind of gotcha pay-to-win shit than the U.S. is, or the West is, by far, by the way. Are they just trying to release that shit to make some money, or did they remake the game, right? Just play it, who cares? Okay, I'm going to tell you the one reason I don't want to try to play and stream it, not on a sponsored stream. Do you want to know why? Because if I do this tomorrow, every other message is going to be talking about how I'm sponsored, because other streamers are sponsored and I'm not. And they're just going to assume, and I'm going to have to constantly correct myself throughout the day and be like, they're going to be like, yeah, but you're just sponsored. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But it's just going to look like I'm sponsored. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. They should pay me. I mean, I asked my agency if there were any Blue Protocol deals going around, and they said they haven't seen any yet. So maybe just UTA isn't working with them. I'm sure some other streamers are. I wonder what agencies they're with. I mean, there's something nice. There's something nice about playing it tomorrow and like not being sponsored, and that you can just be like purely 100% honest. And what I mean by that is, like, when you're sponsored by a game, people they almost never say stuff like, don't say bad stuff about the game or whatever. Like, it's just kind of understood that you shouldn't. Like, if someone's paying you like 50 grand to play a game, I'm probably, even if I'm thinking this game isn't that good, I'm going to say like, I don't like that, instead of like, man, this is dog shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I just don't want to deal with that. So I feel like it's just kind of nice to like fully be able to speak freely when you are playing a game. I'm sure it's in the contract. No, I mean, I've done a bunch of these contracts, right? Like, it usually has stuff to say and not say. It's usually like, don't directly compare this to another game in the genre, because like that's a bad look, right? Like, if you're paying someone to sponsor your game, you don't want them to be like, yeah, Basically, this is just a way better version than this other game, because then it looks like your sponsored paid messaging is shitting on another game, which is a really bad look in the industry. So they mention stuff like that, but like almost none of those contracts, they will always say, just say what you think. But that's like kind of a bait, because like obviously you're not going to. Like if someone is paying you a ton of money, you are less likely to give any negative reviews, like the full exactly what you want to say. You'll always sugarcoat it a little bit, even if you're pretending to be real. You know? At least for me, I'm not going to like gas the game if it's bad. Like I'm not going to play, like I'm not going to be like, "Oh, well, oh, you can pay for this and that. Oh, that's cool." Like completely fake. I won't do that. But like if I'm like really feeling like something is bad, I might be like, "Yeah, I don't know about that." But if I wasn't sponsored, I would definitely change that phrasing to like, "Yeah, this seems like it's bad. Like it's just not good," right? That's what you'll get. But that is not mentioned in the contract at all, ever. Like it never says use kind language or none of that. It is never, ever, ever stated, because it's just obvious that you wouldn't. And if you ever do, you just probably won't get another one, right? Dorky said he can get a sponsor for this. Bro. Hear me out. Dork. Hear me out. Listen. You tell them, "Hey, I'm at the table. I'm willing to talk a deal. But if we get my friend Max in, I don't know if you've heard of him, but we could do a duo stream and you pay all of us significantly more. So you get more money too. And then also we'll dress up head to toe in anime garb." We're not doing the last part. Let me reach out again. I mean, realistically, it looks like I'm going to probably try to play the game tomorrow. Although I don't even know if I'll make it to max level. Like the combat has to be really good. Someone earlier said it's going to be Terra's Land with better combat. Bro, I have an extremely high opinion of Terra's Land. Like that game fucking slaps. I had so much fun in that game. We had so much fun in that game. Rating. Yeah, Tar Island, bro. Like if this game was Terra's Land with better combat, I would be literally no lifing this game. Terra's Land already died. Oh yeah, that game died. Rest in peace. But yeah, it was a great game. Here's what I'll say. It was a great game if all you cared about is high-level rating content. And you had 9 friends to play with who are also just as good as you. And you were trying to do the challenge raids the first day they came out before they got easy. There's a lot of stipulations that may only apply to the exact 10 people that played that game with me. But we all had like a blast. Like that game was fucking amazing. Like we were, bro, it took 10 liquid raiders in very WoW-like rating anywhere from like 3 to 8 hours to kill these raid bosses when they came out per boss of like good progression. That's like pretty rare. There's not that many WoW bosses in an expansion that give you that. That was really sick. Max, just a heads up, Blue Protocol is heavily time-gated per day. Oh, I hate when Eastern MMOs do this. Why? I mean, probably because it's a phone game and probably because it's like free-to-play and they never want free-to-play to feel too far behind or else like people just log off. That's probably why they do it. For money? No, it's very... that part I specifically don't think is for money. I just think... So just like... Okay, have you guys seen the drama with like skill-based matchmaking in FPS games? It's so simple. All the like top streamers who are owners want no skill-based matchmaking because they want to pub stomp noobs. And what they either know or are ignorant enough to like kind of forget is that 99% of like people who play those games are noobs. And that is what makes COD a bunch of money and how those games are profitable. So there needs to be skill-based matchmaking so the average player, the mass majority of players are having fun because it's not fun getting shit on by someone way better than you. That's why it exists. Same thing in this game. If you log in, if you feel like you're 3 days late to a game like Blue Protocol and it's an MMO and people are max level doing end game content and you are just leveling up, you might log off. But if you know you can get to the same point they've got to pretty quickly because they were gated, I think it keeps the average casual player more invested, which are probably the people spending money too. So it's Yee. Max, what's your opinion on the life of a showgirl? Oh, me and my girlfriend listened to it. We listened to like 6 songs on the way to a restaurant the other night. So I don't listen to a ton of Taylor Swift, but I've like heard some of it. I'm going to say something that might offend some people, but like it all just sounded like Taylor Swift songs. And I don't mean that in a good or bad way. It's just like if you were just like, "Hey Max, let's listen to a Taylor Swift album." And you either put on an album from 5 years ago or the album that I was listening to, I would have been like, "Yeah, this is a Taylor Swift album." You know what I'm saying? It's got like the pop synth aesthetic. It's got like that Taylor Swift poppy sound like producing to like every single track with somewhat clever lyrics. And then every now and then one of the hooks is like pretty catchy, you know, and that's it to me. But I want you guys to know something very important about me with music. I kind of don't care about lyrics at all. Like music for me is purely, and this is probably because I mean some of my most favorite music is like classical music. I grew up singing and performing classical music my whole life, and I love that. And a decent amount of that is there are no lyrics, so I purely am into like the musicality of it, right? So that's the case for me with like pretty much all pop music. I like the way it sounds. I kind of am not listening to what they're saying at all. And I think a thing with Taylor Swift is like big Taylor Swift fans are like, "Oh my God, what she's saying is so real right now." And she might be saying some shit that's super real. But like, I don't care. I just like the way it sounds. And I mean, Taylor Swift's got some bangers. Bro, there's for sure some Taylor Swift bangers, dude. I don't listen to a ton of her music, but it's got some these are some oldies. Let me go all the way back. Bad Blood's a heater. Shake It Off. Yeah, Shake It Off kind of owns. You Belong With Me kind of owns. What am I looking? Why are there so many albums, bro? What is this? This is in 2020. No, go back to like, hey, dude, like Bad Blood. What about Blank Space, bro? Y'all ever heard this shit? Song fucking owns. Song owns hard. That's fine. There's some bro, we like some Taylor Swift stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Like when I listen to the thing, but then people are like shitting on it because they're like it's mid, and I'm just like, I don't know what this means, but I feel like this entire album just sounds like every other album. But again, I somewhat enjoyed it, but I feel like saying that would offend some people. And I've seen how much Swifties can like, you know, I'm not trying to become an enemy of the Swifties. Actually, you know what? I'm at a quite comfortable level of niche internet celebrity where you get a decent amount of money and you love your job and you have a lot of freedom and stuff like that. But I don't matter enough for really anyone to care what I say. And it's like I'm right, like I would like to think I'm like just below that line, which is great. Where like if I was even somewhat more popular, you might like shit on a celebrity and then you're on Twitter or Reddit and people get mad at you like a Hasan or someone like that, you know what I'm saying? But like no one cares about me. So I just don't have to worry about stuff like that. It's amazing. It is so amazing. Now I've just been banging the midnight recently. I think the line is a bit further away. Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. We are young, irrelevant, my guy. Who's your favorite composer? Of the OGs, Mendelssohn. More recent guy, a Latvian dude named Eric Eschenwalds. And then for more like contemporary piano stuff, probably Chad Lawson. But also I can listen to a lot of Einaudi stuff. Have you heard of Eric Whitaker? Yeah, like most high school choir kids, I did go through an Eric Whitaker phase. Yeah. I too can can just constantly slam minor seconds in every chord and then resolve them. I can. Bro, what does that even mean? Bro, actually, now that's a major Eric Whitaker slander. He's fine. It's just the cluster chord gimmick gets really old. Like you could like basically I think here's this is gonna sound really offensive. I feel like most decently high level, but like like college level music theory kids, if the class uh if the class project in your theory class was to come up with, like make your own Eric Whitaker piece without even describing what that means, everyone would come back with a piece that sounds exactly like an Eric Whitaker song because it's just not that deep. Like he's better at doing that, and he's got some heaters, but it is truly very one dimensional. You guys don't care about a lot of this. That's fine. The dude is just know that Eric Whitaker is horny for a ninth. The real ones know. Dude throws a ninth on everything. 7th. Yes, sir. Just fucking just take a major chord and just throw in a bunch of other shit. W. Where's this fucking build at? Dude, if they don't release this build in the next like 2 minutes, I'm playing Blue Protocol tomorrow with Dorky. Wait, what are the group sizes in that game, Dork? The real challenge with that style of writing is making the voice leading sound natural. It can be hard to make a chord that dense and sound like it's resolving to the next naturally. Dude, you actually know what you're talking about. Look at that. Yeah, like for example, writing an Eric Whitacre piece for voice would be a lot harder than writing it for orchestra or piano or just writing the actual chords out because it doesn't you don't care about voice leading when you're well actually that's not true with like piano lines. There are definitely lines within each kind of thing in piano, but yeah, that's a very good point. Dorky, we need a squad. All right, me and Dorky are recruiting for a squad to do high level rating in Blue Protocol. Requirements: you have to be an absolute fucking beast. Number 1. Number 2, no gooning for the entire duration of the Blue Protocol rating session. And that's it. Those are the 2 requirements. And you have to be there on time. Let me ask Dratnos. This seems like the exact game that Dratnos would not want to play. Drat. Wanna play Blue Protocol with me and Dork? He hates anime. Dorky, we need a squad. We need people that are good at WoW that will play Blue Protocol with us, and we're going to get world first. It's going to be amazing. You're going to get capped at level 21 tomorrow and be like, let me play the fucking game? Yeah. And the best part is I'm not going to be sponsored. And I'm going to get really mad and say mean things. Or they'll sponsor me before tomorrow, in which case I won't do that, but then I'll be making money. How can anyone under like 35 hate anime? Okay, hate's a strong word. I don't really feel anything about anime. I just don't watch it. I mean, I watch some anime, just like, I mean, you've heard this conversation before if you've heard people, they just name all the normie acceptable animes from like when we were kids, for what, like Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And, is that, What are some other good ones? Like, yeah, Family Guy. I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that bit today. You can't do it every time. Uh, yeah, but like, I mean, I watched those and I enjoyed them. I just like don't watch it now. And like, I feel like when I have ever seen it in the last 10 years, which has just been extremely rare, it just seems like it's really long and drawn out and it like takes a while to kind of get to the point. It's like kind of when you're doing a JRPG and it feels like the story is just like crawling and they're doing way too much character depth that's like not interesting, and it just seems like it's taking a long time to get from point A to point B and everything's super epic, but it's like not, you know? Like there's just a lot of filler, I guess. I don't know. That's kind of the vibe I get from someone who's completely not experienced and might be making all this up, and maybe it's not. I don't know. That's a good way to put it. It's extremely expositional and overdone. Yeah. I'm what you'd call a normie. Max, did you ever play Expedition 33, or is that not your jam? I think Expedition 33 is my favorite game that I've played in like the last 2 or 3 years. I haven't played it since it came out, but I like no lifed it until it was over. I fucking love that game. I didn't look up anything either. I just like fucking figured it out, just gamed it. They just announced new content. Ooh. Ooh. That sounds fun. All right, what can we actually do today? If like while we're waiting for this to come up, Legion remix? Nah, I don't care about that. Max, you should give Ghost of Yotei a try. Tsushima was an all-time banger, and Yotei just improved on it. All right, so I played Ghost of Tsushima. I really liked it. And I'm thinking about playing Ghost of Yotei. I started playing it. I bought it. So need you to know, I don't care about story or anything. I purely care about gameplay and like nice talents and ability upgrades and just like basically like treating it as a single player RPG progression, right? But I just completely ignore the story, which I know for Ghost of Tsushima fans like immediately makes their entire skin crawl. Because apparently that's supposed to be like really good. But yeah, I don't know. I tried Ghost of Yotei for like an hour, and like maybe I need to try again to get into it. But it was all like unskippable cutscene, boring. Like it was just basically I haven't gotten to actually like get into the gameplay loop yet. I need to get past that part, and then once I do that, there's like just a lot of like build up, and I just don't care about any of it. So I'm just waiting for them to get done with that bit. Were you a fan of Witcher 3? Yeah. Not because of the story, though. I didn't do the story at all in Witcher 3, which is kind of crazy because, like, the gameplay in Witcher 3 is, like, pretty bad. But I did like the RPG progression element of it, and I played the fuck out of Gwent. I made it a point to get every Gwent card in that game. I loved that. There was one side quest that always stuck with me, the, like, Baron and that like girl under the house or whatever. Or maybe that was a main quest. Is it time to log into Megabonk and beat Shroud? I played Megabonk for an hour yesterday for the first time. It was pretty fun. I don't know how much I'm going to play it because those games are like fun to play while you're unlocking everything, but then it just turns out you're just trying to play the same build, and it's like RNG simulator basically. No motion sickness? No, I felt great when playing the game. Did you enjoy the Expedition 33 story, or did you also only gameplay that? I skipped every Expedition 33 cutscene. There were multiple points where like entire characters were like changing, and I had no idea why, and I never asked. I just the gameplay of that game was absolutely turbo goated. Like, bro, just imagine you don't pay attention to the story of that game. Just, I mean, this is kind of spoilers, but like, whatever. Like, just at a certain point in that game, one of your characters is just fucking gone, and there's just another one. And if you don't pay attention to the story, you just like, what the fuck even happened, bro? Or maybe he like evolved because they're kind of similar. I'm gonna go with he evolved like a Pokemon. That's chill. That's an S tier scene you missed. Bro, if you guys want to watch some good shit, watch Task on HBO right now. Shit cranks. What is it? It's kind of triggering hearing people stubbornly turbo skip story in games that are arguably all about the story. Bro, I think Expedition 33's gameplay is transcendent in the turn-based genre, and I think the turn-based genre will never be the same because of how good and how different it was. Expedition 33 gameplay alone is like warrants the game. It's goated. Trust me, the story was even better than the gameplay. Yeah, but I don't care. I don't care about video game story. I only play video games for good gameplay. That's it. I mean, I know I'm not. I'm not the average person. I'm fucking weird. I get that I'm weird, but I mean that's just how I am. You know. Max, did something happen to you as a child to make you hate stories? I think I just played through enough video games where the stories were mid, and the reason I was playing it was because of the gameplay that I just learned to just stop skipping the mid, or I just started skipping the mid, and only cared about the gameplay to save myself a lot of time. However, now does that mean that I've probably missed some bangers because of it? Yes, but like I don't regret that decision. Max, I just got an update on BNet that Alpha is downloading an update. Hold. Oh, real shit. Real shit. 1 second, let me go get water. Servers are still showing offline. Yeah, that part doesn't matter. So what just happened was they pushed the build live, which means now it can be data mined. So we're not rushing to log on the alpha to see anything different particularly. What we're waiting for is for them to post update notes or for someone to data mine them to where we get to talk about the interesting things that they're changing in the direction they're taking the game and stuff. So that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for nerds to do their jobs. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that is it. Max, random note, but last stream I noticed you had some base takes on TV shows. Yeah, bro. Yeah. That's all I do is have good takes, dude. That's my thing. Never had one bad take. I'm a fucking good take machine, if you ask me. Max, does Team Liquid not have a guy to mine this shit? He better do it quick. What the fuck is he paid for? We do have a few people that data mine all kinds of things that are relevant to our rating guild, like changes to bosses after we've tested them. And we usually have that information at least far before they're posted on Wowhead. Or, you know, mainly because it's what we care about, and it's pretty low priority for Wowhead, probably. Max, are you a Final Fantasy enjoyer? Only for the gameplay. There were a few Final Fantasies that, like, honestly, dude, a really good Final Fantasy is just when the characters are interesting, not story-wise, like, interesting gameplay-wise, and you can swap between the parties. You can, like, swap people into your party to have, like, different comps and different gameplay choices. That's really fun. And then the most recent Final Fantasy 16, again, didn't pay attention to any story, never do, was actually, the combat in that game was so fucking good. I probably remade my talent tree in that game like over 50 times, not making that up, just trying different builds and like getting as OP as possible. And the game had so much promise, only for it to absolutely suck, because they had a difficulty option. Like, basically the hard mode for that game wasn't available until you beat the entire game. Like, the actual hard difficulty. You had to New Game Plus to play the game on hard mode. So, unfortunately, the game had all this depth. The combat was fucking amazing. Only for it not to matter because the game was just so easy that... I mean, I didn't die to a single boss. 0 deaths. I one-shot every boss in the game. There was no... And it was... And that's not like I'm saying I'm a goat or whatever. The game was just fucking easy. Like, they just didn't make the game hard. So, like, I feel like that game was just missing harder difficulty. Because then, like, okay, you can have all the coolest talents and build possibilities and synergies. You can have all of that. But if you don't have content that makes you need to do that well to challenge it, then all of it doesn't really matter. It's not as rewarding. So that was the issue with the game. Great combat, great choices, but like none of it mattered because you were fighting a boss like a kindergartner could beat. Did you play on action or story mode? I don't remember. I remember Final Fantasy mode, I think is what the hard mode was called, once you did New Game Plus. And I did like half of New Game Plus before I realized that wasn't even really that challenging either. But I don't know. Whatever was the hardest available mode before you New Game Plused it. Refreshing? Silver Moon City preview is the new post. Yeah, that's not what we care about. Nah, we're waiting for so basically there's just going to be a blue tracker note, and it's going to be like alpha dev note update, or Wowhead's going to data mine it. All as far as I know, assuming this update they pushed is the actual build. Did you guys see how long it took to download it? Let's see. Did you know how big was the download? I mean, that doesn't really matter. I don't even know why that matters. Why did I just say that? How big the download was. That is so fucking irrelevant. It's so irrelevant. Because, like, all of the things that we care about are not things that add file size to the game. It just doesn't matter. Like you could have a fucking 10 times longer alpha dev note thing than what you just saw, and it would the download size would be nothing. It's like art assets that take up the space. Max, I didn't see the video, but what's your take on Blizzard's cooldown manager? I'm currently enjoying it while doing Mythic Dungeons. The cooldown manager on Alpha is really good. It's way better than what they have on Live. It's going to solve a lot of the, like, UI add-on stuff where, like, it's nice to have that stuff in game, but it still needs to be improved in a lot of ways. But yeah. Oh, it's the same as Live? Oh, like... Yeah, sorry. So it went live this week, right? But yeah, the version that's in live right now is really good. It's like significantly better than it has been previously. You can also skin it too with some add-ons if you don't like the way it looks. Like you can basically make it look exactly like the old UI packages used to look like, which is good. As far as its functionality, I think it's still improving, but it's much better. Max, did you see debuff manager on Wowhead? No. What is that? I mean, that's something you... So, like, one of the major things missing from WoW's default UI is debuff and buff blacklisting and whitelisting, both on raid frames and just on your overall UI buff and debuff frame. If you're telling me that someone figured that out, that would be really good. Where is that? There's a post about it? Yeah, what's it called? Not up here. Max, you sound like shit. Are you okay? Yeah, I was sick for like a couple days last week. And I still just have some leftover like congestion, but I'm not sick anymore. It's at the bottom of the cooldown manager update. Yeah, I saw it. Okay, now that you mentioned it. Nameplate thing. It's not this. Here, what's changing with Blizzard nameplates? Everything you need to know. Well, we already know that. Max, you can filter the Wowhead news to get rid of classic stuff. Oh my god, how? Oh, there's a filter. Oh my god. Oh my god. Let me log in with my Reggie account. Just so I don't get ads, you dig? Okay, so now we have to filter. I don't even know what other is, but fuck it. I don't see a... Wait, did we watch this interview? Was this an interview we missed? Encounter design aims for more clarity in Midnight with Pika TV and Kess. I think... No, maybe we did watch it. No, I don't think we did. Huh? Dude, is it with my goats? Is it with my goats? It is, dude. Okay, someone said notes went live, though. So if that's the case, we're going to look at that. Yep, here we go. New notes, boys. Lock in. All right. In development, Phase 2 of the Midnight Alpha. Phase 2 of the Midnight Alpha is here, and with it, players will be able to test from level 83 to 88, explore the Zul'Aman zone, and more. Midnight Alpha Phase 2 content is level 33 to 88. They added the zone Zul'Aman. There's 2 new dungeons, 2 new delves. We expected that. Oh, no, this isn't what we need. Unlock, lock out, lock out, lock out, unlock, unlock. This is they're just saying this has happened, which means they're like pushing the servers live or whatever. This is not the content we care about. The content we care about is all the things you've changed and why. Which will happen. Yeah, we're waiting for the dev notes. There is no unlock. You have to learn how to lock out, bro, or else whenever you lock in, it won't matter. Think about it. How do you get alpha access? You just gotta get accepted into one of the waves. You can like opt in for it. It's pretty rare though. Like there's not a lot of people in alpha right now. I don't really know why that is. Actually, like I'm sure there's some level of like it's not stable and they want to make sure it works. But like if you were to ask me like why it doesn't make sense to allow anyone to play the alpha that wants to, I actually don't know the answer to that question. At least for beta we know the answer because like they want to sell that, right? Like it's on the Giga edition. Like you can get beta with the Giga edition if you pre-order. Is probably to make sure that the data they get is reliable or good. If you let any shitter in, the data is going to be more volatile. But people are giving feedback not even being in the alpha, though. You know? We're just refreshing till dev notes are posted. I mean, technically it's all available right now. Like, what is definitely happening right now is someone at Wowhead is actively data mining the build they put out. And all the stuff that is available in a dev note will probably be posted somewhat soon. Unfortunately, it's usually in like the Wowhead data dump format, which is like impossible to read. And usually we just like wait until Blizzard posts it. Someone in chat says, to be honest, I just said something that sounded good. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Dude, dude, same. That's how I feel all the time. Dev notes usually go up when servers go live. That's not necessarily true. I think they can go out long before servers come up. One thing that at least is pretty confusing to some people that follow WoW is at least my understanding of how the developers work on beta, alpha, and PTR cycles is they're working all week to put up a new beta build or whatever, but there is no like target date. There is no end date. There is no like get your work in by this before we push it, and then they push it and then they continue working. Just imagine they're all working all week, and then just at some point there's a snapshot where the beta build is pushed, or the alpha build is pushed, or the PTR build is pushed. And then that is pushed sometimes with half-finished work, right? Because there was no make sure you have your full rework in by this 9 p.m. deadline or whatever. It's like they might just be in the middle of it. So usually that's when like some things are misunderstood, and then like there needs to be a dev note clarifying later in the day, like, oh, actually this was part of this, but it just wasn't in there yet. It's like basically in continuous development in the beta builds, but a lot of people look at beta builds as like this decision they made is final, or not final, but like this is their full completed vision. And it's oftentimes missing some pieces because they just didn't get to it yet. In corporate, when you try to wait for everyone, it'll never go live. Yeah, that's probably the reason, yeah. Max, if you slowly allow people in over time, you'll have different people excited at different points for dungeons, classes, quests, and you'll get iterative feedback that way. Oh, I never even thought about that. That's such a good point. Because like the beta and alpha like keeps changing over time, that if you let everyone in right away, like the hype will fade, they'll move on to other things. And then like when you actually have changes later, you get less feedback on those because everyone stopped doing it, where like if you keep letting people in, you're kind of like spreading out the excitement to where you're getting constant feedback on the changes. I don't know if that's actually right or if you made that up, but that sounds so smart if that is true. Okay, there's notes and also alpha is up. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is the same. I'm assuming it's Wowhead notes. Oh, no. Please, please, Blizzard. Oh, data mine class tuning for phase 2 of Midnight Alpha. No, I can't read this garbage. Oh my god, it even has the fucking spell flags. I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, just please, Blizzard, post them so they're readable. I'm not doing it. Like, maybe, God, I'm so hungry for information. Maybe I'll try browsing, but like, actually fucking blow me the fuck up. Okay, so changed a few positions on the blood tree. Made epidemic 4 seconds. This is all just like, can probably skip a lot of this because this is just like Unholy is clearly just still being cooked. Some new talents that were not implemented last week. Probably class tree stuff, right? Yeah. Blur reduces all damage taken. Cooldown change from 1 minute cooldown to 1 minute recharge. Charges change from none to 1 charges. Did they add a talent that gives you blur charges? Hunt tooltip change. Not reading that too deeply right now. New talents. They made Sigil of Chains a 1 minute recharge instead of 1.5 minute recharge. Some Devourer stuff. They moved some talents around. Two charges for Blur with a 2.5 second immunity would be absolutely crazy. I mean, dude, even having a 2.5 second immunity every 1 minute is like fucking bonkers for a lot of raid bosses in history. Like, if you've ever done a raid boss where you're like, okay, we need enough immunities. Do we have enough? Like, current version of DH would just reduce the number of things you'd need because they do so much heavy lifting there. It'd be very, very good. Would also make them very stackable. It could just be a vengeance only thing. It could be, yeah, we don't know yet. We'll probably see here. Annihilator, some class tree stuff. General. Let's see if the general tree changes it here. So they brought Demon Muzzle back, but now it's interrupting a spell with Disrupt, decreases your magic damage taken by 15% for 12 seconds. Is that what it used to be? What wasn't Demon Muzzle the passive magic DR? Oh, charges just means it goes on CD before the duration ends. Oh, I see. It's demonic resilience. Oh, there it is. So they removed the passive magic DR that Demon Hunters had, but for Havoc and Devour, there is a talent where Blur gains an additional charge. And for Vengeance, you get an extra charge of Demon Spikes. I mean, you're just going to always take that. I mean, Demon Muzzle is still sick, though, right? Like, getting DR for kicking things is really good. Like, I mean, it's obviously like Shaman currently has that. Wow. That's going to be really, really, really good. Any other new cool talents? Yeah, I can skip those. Cool. Druid. Nerfed Memory Viscera. They made Heart of the Wild a 2-minute cooldown for Resto specifically? Interesting. Devastation Evoker. They removed a damage modifier on Feed the Flames. Different position for Wernstone. Okay, not that many changes. They buffed Stomp by a lot. Change the PvP multiplier on a few things. Wait, Evoker lost Renewing Blaze? Huh? So what Renewing Blaze used to say is the Flames of Life surround you for 8 seconds while this effect is active. 100% of the damage you take is healed back over 8 seconds. Okay. Now it is Obsidian Scales surrounds you with a Renewing Blaze, causing 100% of the damage it reduced to be healed back over 8 seconds. Okay, yeah, so they're basically just baking it in so you don't have multiple defensives to think about. It's just part of Obsidian Scales. So this does a few things. Number one, it makes Obsidian Scales just absolutely fucking bonkers as a button, as a singular button. Wait, actually, it's also way weaker. It's the damage you reduced. It's the damage you reduce with Obsidian Scales is healed back over 8 seconds versus 100% of the damage you take. Oh, so it's like way fucking worse. It's 30% as good as it used to be, and you can't use it separately. You can't have Renewing Blaze do a mechanic and then Obsidian Scales. Wow. That's crazy because Evokers were extremely tanky when played at a high level, but like were really squishy and one of the highest death statistics when played by the average player. And now, I mean, you're gonna be even more dead, right? And I think at a high level, they actually lost a lot of defensiveness here. Really interesting. That's a crazy nerf. I wonder if Flame Shaper, are they going to change Flame Shaper's defensive node then? Because he used to be able to give... Dude, Evokers giving Renewing Blaze to other people is so astronomically broken when you actually... Are, like, if you're coordinated and you have, like, a guild healing officer that is assigning Renewing Blazes to people at certain parts of the fight, it hard... For, like, Mythic World First progression, it's fucking crazy. Like, we had 4 of them. We had 4 external Renewing Blazes on Dimensius. That cut a ton of pulls off that boss. A lot of... Or let's just say a lot of deaths. Fucking crazy. So, wow. That's a huge nerf. Okay. Man, I didn't even read that. Okay, some mage stuff. They changed some spell flags. That's good. Because usually what these are, when you're reading stuff like this, like, apply aura dummy modifies damage done and healing done. Whenever you see notes throughout the year that say something like, obliterate buffed by 10% or something, that's them usually changing a spell flag on a thing rather than actually changing the number. So usually going into expansions whenever they're like completely retuning an entire class, which makes sense from time to time because you want the damage to come from the right place. You don't want one button doing all of your damage. You want your damage to come from a lot of different places. You want your finishers to feel strong. All of that comes from doing this. They have to like reset a lot of these effects, which looks like that's what a lot of these notes are. Okay, they made Ice Lance shatter 4 stacks of freezing and Comet Storm shatter 2. They made Portal and Teleport not cast mana. Is that because of the bug that people are currently doing? I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but there is a spell that's not in your spell book that you can cast as a mage that you can just put in a macro and it just like depletes your mana because it's like creating a fake portal to nowhere infinitely to like go on purpose. So they were just like, all right, this doesn't cost mana anymore. So that won't be an issue. Okay, they changed some stuff here. Cool. Buff Breath of Fire. Changed some spell flags, some auras. They removed Battle Meditation. They removed Chi Harmony. They added Emperor's Elixir. Okay, Thunder Focus Tea, new talent. This is for specifically Mistweaver. Thunder Focus Tea now empowers Enveloping Mist and Rising Sun Kick further. Enveloping Mist will begin a channel of Soothing Mist that may be cast while moving onto your target. And Rising Sun Kick releases a Jadefire Stomp in front of you. And Jadefire Stomp, they just mentioned... Okay, so this is kind of cool. I mean, I talked to Megaset last week, and she said that it kind of felt bad losing Jadefire Stomp, I think. It was like a really cool looking ability. And this is like kind of their way of adding it back. Okay. W Memory, thank you. This is pretty much what she asked for in her latest vid. Yep. One of those scenarios where Blizzard listens and does things, but no one actually remembers it, but they only remember the things that Blizzard doesn't do. So that whenever people are like, yeah, Blizzard will listen to feedback and change things, and someone in chat will be like, yeah, because they've ever done that, right? But because when they actually do it, no one cares. And when they don't listen to something that people want, it's like the only thing they remember. All right. Jade Empowerment, Cracking Lightning's damage is increased by 300% and now changed to 4 additional enemies at 25% effectiveness. This is so this they removed this from Windwalker. But they're keeping it for Mistweaver, and they changed the couple spell flags and the text. Wait, actually, they just nerfed it crazy style, right? Casting Thunder Focus Tea increases your next Crackling Jade Lightning by 2,000% and causes it to chain. And now it is Crackling Jade Lightning's damage is increased by 300% and is increased by, and now changed to 4. Okay, so they made it no longer tied to Thunder Focus Tea. You can use it all the time and it will always do the same thing, and it's just 300%. So it's like, it's a nerf for stacking it up for like a massive, like it's basically, it's how powerful it is every single time you press it has gone down, but you have the option to press it more to AoE more all the time if you want to. But I'm not familiar with Mistweaver Monk. Why would you... Yeah, like spinning Crane Kick versus this becomes interesting. Maybe because it's ranged? Oh, it's for caster Mistweaver. Oh, okay. Oh. Remove some talents, added some new ones. Misty Coalescence. Renewing Mist healing is increased by up to 300% in proportion to its coverage on yourself and your allies. Oh, this is interesting. This is probably like the atonement change. So when you have less Renewing Mists out, they should do more healing. And if you have like Renewing Mist on the whole raid, it'll do its regular amount. But this one will buff Renewing Mist by up to 300% when you have it on a few targets. So like in dungeons, for example, this will just make your hots heal, your specific Renewing Mist hot, like significantly better. I think... in general, this makes a lot of sense for all healer specs to have stuff like that. Probably makes it easier to tune them as well. Removed refreshment. Okay. Windwalker. Okay, so they changed the Mistweaver spell tag on Windwalker abilities. Hype. They nuked 3 of Shadowpan's hero talents. I'm assuming they're just gonna rework those or add new ones. So in the general tree, there's 2 ranks to Ferocity of Zwen, and there's 4 more new talents. Vivify triggers a Gust of Mist on yourself. After Detox successfully removes an effect from an ally, their movement speed is increased by 30% for 5 seconds. After casting Enveloping Mist, your next Vivify becomes instant cast. While no enemies are within 15 yards, you heal for... Huh? While no enemies are within 15 yards, you heal within this amount of spell power every 3 seconds. I mean, on yourself? Is it a self-heal? Like, when no enemies are near you, you just get a heal every 3 seconds on yourself? Maybe some kind of caster Mistweaver tech? Anyways. 2 more new talents. Leg Sweep applies Disable for 5 seconds when it ends. Oh, that's kind of cool. And then Vivify critical strike chance are increased by 15% on yourself when you Vivify yourself. Okay. They made for Holy Paladin, they made Shield of the Righteous reduce the cooldown of Holy Shock by 1.5 seconds instead of Crusader Strike. Max, they just removed Crusader Strike for Holy. Oh, I see. So probably a lot of these texts are just going to be removing that. They added 3 new talents for Prop Paladin. Judgment has a chance to grant you Vanguard, causing your next Avenger's Shield to leave an echoing bolt of light in line between you and the initial target, piercing any enemy struck to deal attack power holy damage. That's kind of cool. Okay, Judgment deals 10% increased damage, and when you consume Vanguard, you gain 1 holy power. And then you can get rank 2 of this, where you get 3 holy power. Oh, these probably are Apex talents, you're right. Okay, so the first part of the Apex talent, you get 1 point in it. It's going to make you, whenever you get your Avenger Shield proc, Or whenever you get Vanguard, your Avenger Shield will leave an Echoing Bolt of Lightning. Cool. Then also when you get this, you also get 3 Holy Power when you press Avenger Shield. And Judgment just does more damn. And the final capstone of it, your next cast of Shield of the Righteous, after Vanguard, deals 20% additional damage to your primary target and causes light to refract onto 4 other targets for attack power holy damage. And during Avenging Wrath, your Avenger Shield always benefits from Vanguard. Okay, so like massive buff to the damage in your wings. Also thematically sounds fucking sick as fuck. Like it's just going to look really cool. But the reality is you're getting holy power back from Avenger Shield, right? As well for like gameplay. That seems pretty nice. Max tier set bonuses are data mine too. Oh shit. We're going to get lit today. We're going to go crazy on it. Even though just before, okay, I just forget what I just said. We're not going to go crazy. Just remember that anything they're going to announce for tier set bonuses, it's only for 2 specs. Okay, cool. Just again, let me get ahead of all this tier set stuff. If you guys want to be not in a bad mood, do not get your hopes up for a cool tier set bonus if you're any class in the game. They're just not going to be that interesting in the first tier. They never are. And I feel like people are going to expect them to be, and they're just going to say L after every single one, but it's kind of the point. Okay. Moving on. Buffed Ret Mastery. Divine Toll. They just removed. Okay, that's fine. General talents in the general tree, they removed Guided Prayer. Oh, interesting. They removed Divine Resonance for Ret, where it randomly casts Judgment every 5 seconds, 15 seconds. It makes it so your next 3 judgments cast again at 100% effectiveness. So I think the reason for this was the main reason they removed Crusading Strikes was it was like you needed add-ons to track when you were going to get Holy Power. And after you used Divine Toll, it kind of felt that way as well. Right? You needed a tracker to tell when you were actually going to have your judgments go off, but they're going to it's going to be more deterministic when you actually get it. I feel like that's a good change. Okay. When your health, they removed that. They changed the punishment. That makes sense. Divine Protection. Oh, they just removed the talent position of Shield of Vengeance. Cool. Priest. Interesting. Oh, so okay, they had to do this. So they removed Void Torrent, but the entire Void Weaver tree was based off of Void Torrent. So they basically changed all the Void Torrent stuff to be based off of Mind Blast. It's only for disc. Void Torrent is back. Okay, I just made that the fuck up, dude. Let's go. This is for disc. Everyone stay mad. All right. For Shadow, talents, Void Torrent. So Void Torrent is back, I believe. And they... Wait, did they also bring back Void Bolt? Or is Void Bolt still gone? And they buffed the fuck out of Apparitions. Yeah, by 50%. Well, okay, not really. They buffed the base damage of Apparitions by 50%, but critical strikes no longer increase the damage of Apparitions by double. So it's some give and some take. More like stat priority stuff. There's Void Volley is part of... They buff the fuck out... No, Void Volley is part of Void Torrent currently. There's other talents that buff them. Yeah, okay. But Void Torrent is back. Okay. Hero talent, see if anything's interesting. Cool. Rog. Oh, they added hero talents for sub. Okay, sub hero talents, lock in. Damaging attacks that expend shadow techniques to generate combo points have a 15% chance per stack to expended to create a shadow clone that repeats the attack for 50% of the normal damage of shadow. Okay, so just straight up, theme-wise, it's going to look cool as fuck. You're a little sub-rogue, and every now and then you're going to have little fucking shadowy dudes come out of nowhere to hit your target. I think theme for that's really cool. Shadow clones have a 50% chance to trigger the shadow technique's unique effect. If you get both, it has a 100% chance to trigger it. And then the capstone is after using an attack that generates combo points, if you have 5 or more stacks of shadow techniques, your next damaging finishing move will expend them and generate combo points up to your max. Shadow damage is increased by 10%. Oh, just generally speaking, shadow damage just straight up increased by 10%. I mean, that's pretty cool. I like that. Theme-wise, W, but it's so convoluted, and I say this as someone who plays sub a lot. I always generally find it really hard to react to sub changes, because usually, if for some of these classes that I don't play, I'm somewhat looking for chat to, like, be like, oh, there's someone who mains this class, you can tell. And they're like, oh, that's really cool, or I don't really like that. So I've gotten used to seeing a lot of class feedback over the years to help inform like what it means, what's happening to the game, right? Because I don't play everything. But I find it really hard with rogues because, and I hope you guys don't take this the wrong way. Actually, you probably will take it the wrong way, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Whenever any rogue changes come out, good or bad, you guys are so fucking dobby. Like, among all of the specs in the game, literally everything is bad news when something happens to your class. I think it's probably because, like, you're a class that has famously not gotten a lot of changes, so, like, you're jaded by that, and, like, when you get changes, you're kind of, like, predispositioned to, like, shit on them because you're, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's something going on there. I haven't thought about it too much. I'm not a rogue player myself. Like, at least, I mean, I have a rogue, but I don't play it all the time. But I can just tell you, like, it's super hard for me to gauge whether things are going to be good or bad based on your feedback because it's just always so negative. And it's way more than other classes, usually. Okay, Shadowcraft changes. Anything general? So Cold Blood is still in, but they made it to where critically striking with an attack that generates combo points increases the critical strike chance of your next finishing move by 10%. And it's no longer has a chance. So it happens every time. You basically just don't even think about this. Oh, they made Supercharger have Shadow Dance Supercharger combo point instead of symbols. Okay, Shaman. Ellie. Nerfed Mastery. Slightly. Okay. Stuff like this, it's hard to have a reaction to it because with so many things changing, buffing or nerfing of certain things can be like totally fine or not, you know, who knows. That seems pretty big though, right? Because isn't this, I know there's a second part of the mastery, but isn't this kind of just nerfing the mastery by like 17, 18%, something like that? Let's see. Ascendance. So Ascendance for Ellie. While Ascended, Elemental Overload damage is increased by 75%, so nerf that in half. Some talent is coming back later. Cool. They removed erupting lava. They changed Flames of the Cauldron. Improve Voltaic Blaze. Voltaic Blaze cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds. Change position of mountains will fall and power the Maelstrom. They changed Storm Frenzy to just reduce the cast time of Tempest and Chain Lightning by 15%. Cool Enhance. Change some spell flags. They changed the position of Legacy of the Frost Witch, although I thought they removed that, or maybe they just reworked it. Oh, got barking. 1 second. Okay, we're back. Change position of Primordial Storm. Raging Maelstrom. Maelstrom weapon can now stack 5 additional times. That's what it's always done, right? But now it is also consuming Maelstrom weapon causes your next Healing Surge or Chain Heal to gain 100% of the benefits of Maelstrom weapon based on the stacks consumed. Oh, shit. Bro, that's fucking sick. So you don't have to actually spend Maelstrom on your heals anymore? So Natty, whenever you just want to slam a heal, it doesn't take your Maelstrom weapons. It's just, and it's also going to be fucking juiced. Holy fuck. Wait, that is so broken for survivability. Like, one of the biggest self-heals in the entire game is a, like, max Maelstrom weapon healing surge. Right? What is it? You can't spend Maelstrom on healing anymore? Yeah, I know, which is good, but, like, you can in a way. Like, you're not going to literally spend Maelstrom weapon on healing, but now when you heal, it is going to have the effects as if it had Maelstrom weapon applied to it. Dude, holy moly, that is so crazy. Self-healing, yeah, like survive. That is a noticeable survivability buff for enhance. Because like before, people didn't want to do it, even if it was so good. Because like ripping a 10 Maelstrom weapon on a heal like feels bad, but now it's just costs you a global instead of costing you, instead of costing you your actual main resource. That's a major difference. Not to mention maybe the chain heals are fat. But I'm thinking more just like you're out of range and everything's off cooldown that you can use that range as you're trying to get in range of the boss. So you just slam a healing surge on someone or yourself. Is it instant? Yeah, it's instant because of the Maelstrom weapon stacks. Yes. Changed a few talent positions and that's it. That's a great quality of life change. Is enhanced suddenly S tier in arena? This already existed in arena. It was just a PvP talent. Now it's part of the whole class. Okay, so they buffed Resto. This is an important thing to look at because Resto is very down bad about their changes. So they made it a little too simple. An efficient healing wave of energy that restores... Okay, yeah, so they just buff healing wave. They buffed their aura modifier. It doesn't really matter, though. They nerfed Coalescing Water, and they have 3 new talents. Max, they removed deeply rooted elements from LA, it looks like. I think you passed that. Oh, shit. Okay, well, they did that. Oh, these are the Apex talents. I see. Riptide has a 10% chance to upgrade your next healing stream totem to a storm stream totem, which heals for 30% more, heals 1 additional ally at 100% effectiveness, and heals 2 injured allies for 300% of spell power when used. Okay, that sounds cool. Healing Stream and Storm Stream Totem healing increased by 30% is the second node, and then that can go up to 60%. And the last node is Storm Stream Totem is usable for free and ignores its cooldown when available. Huh? What? So you can proc it and use it instantly. When it procs, it doesn't count towards... Okay, whatever. I don't understand that. I don't need to, though. Okay. Hero talents for Farseer changed a little bit. Oh, here's the thing. So here's the deeply rooted elements. I didn't miss it yet. It was just farther down. All right, Warlocks. Let's see. Increases the damage dealt by your primary demon by 5%. And Axe Toss now also removes one harmful magic effect for you. Okay, just a... Why did I even read that? Cool. Those things don't really matter. Okay, they added a few of the Hellcaller and Diabolus. They added the new hero talent parts of it. So for Hellcaller, periodic damage dealt with by Wither has a chance to grant Malevolence for 8 seconds. Malevolence grants an additional 4% haste when cast. When cast increases the stat count of active Withers by an additional 2 stacks. And Wrath of the Wild Shaper, the last one, is increases the damage of UA and Chaos Bolt by 4%, and Seed of Corruption and Rain of Fire by 4%. The effect is doubled while Malevolence is active. Okay, that seems pretty big, actually. And Diabolist. You summon a Diabolic Oculus up to 3 each time the duration of Diabolic Ritual is reduced by one of your spells. Diabolic Oculi explode when consuming the demonic art, dealing fire damage to all enemies. Your Oculi now cast it at your primary targets every 1 second while active, and it'll observe the battlefield and collect information. These are both tier pieces, right? And that's cool. This is why I'm such a fan of tier in general. Why I was happy it came back to the game is not all the time does it hit, but it's like a little opportunity to be creative, and every time you come up with a banger, you can build it into the game. So that's nice. If it's a banger. I don't know if it's a banger. And no other changes. So Warlocks are still down. You know what I need to do? I need to see if it's hyperbole, because what I've heard from Demo Warlocks is that 9 out of 10 buttons you press on a boss are Shadow Bolt. And if that's true, that's just like inarguably, I mean, it's so bad, right? So they need to like address that, right? It's not 9 out of 10. Yeah, I'm just going to play it myself and figure it out. Okay, so Warrior. They changed this to, it's just a word change. Same here. Changed the name of the talent. Oh, that's good. So huge nerf here. So previously, Reckless Abandon for Fury said Crushing Blow has a 25% chance to instantly reset its own cooldown, and its critical strikes deal 335,096% additional damage. They nerfed that all the way to 20%. So pretty massive nerf for this talent. They nerfed it by like, it's now like 0.1% as good as it used to be. Damn, huge nerf. Bad day for Fury. Champion Spear. Oh, okay. Wait. So they changed the word. Throwing a spear. This is the like mass script thing. Throw a spear at the target location, chaining all enemies in the area, and pulling them to within 8 yards of the spear. Okay, so it's not going to pixel stack. So it's not. So like before, I wish I had the. Maybe I can find a clip of it. Someone sent me a clip of it. Maybe it was in my stream or something. Okay, I don't remember where the thing is, but there was a like basically they were trying this and only worked like 1 out of 10 times, but they were assuming it's like a mass grip that pixel stacked everything to the spear, but that doesn't happen. It pulls them to within 8 yards of the spear. So it like pulls them to the edge, but how wide is the thing? It could still be really useful, by the way. But like, okay, so here's what I get. All right, let's say it's a... So let's say here's your spear, right? You throw down the spear's in the middle, and then it's surrounded by the thing around it. It looks like a boob, but get over it. Okay? And then like, it says it's going to pull everything within 8 yards of the spear. So that's like the line, right? That's just the edge of the circle, right? But it doesn't say how far away. We saw something where like there was a guy right here, right? And the guy got pulled to like here. He got pulled from here to here. But like it doesn't say how far away it will actually pull them to the 8 yards. Right? It doesn't say that at all. Like maybe from 40 yards away it'll grab things, but that's like probably not how it works, right? You think it's reverse Ring of Peace? Okay, even if it's reverse Ring of Peace, I don't know how far away it sucks you into it. You think it's 15 to 20 yards? Bro, if that's true, isn't that fucking sick? I feel like that's sick. Like, I feel like that's like really, really cool utility. Like, really cool. It's like it's more like Ursul's Vortex than it is Ring of like an anti-Ring of Peace. But I mean, even then, it's still really useful. Test it. Alpha is live. Yeah, I can try. Yeah, I'll try. It looked mid from the GIF. Yeah, I just want to test it. Huh? Did I log on live? No, I didn't. Weird. Alright, we're going to see how this works. Making a warrior named Spearman. Where's the talent? Right here? Yes. Okay, whatever. Just anything. Pick.
There is a vision being seen across.
Yeah, cool. None of this matters, though.
Radiant song.
Yeah, all good.
We believe it's a warning, but we're unsure of its meaning. Meet me in Silithus. We must ask Azeroth's speaker what this vision means.
Okay. Oh, so you see it. You see the duration, the distance. So you just assume that if you were standing on the stairs here, you would not get sucked in. I mean, that's pretty fucking big, man. Like, I need to go out in the world and test this shit. Dude, this is cool. They actually gave them some utility. How do I get to... Oh, I just fly there. Or port there. Yo, me and Dorky are recruiting for our Blue Protocol raid team tomorrow. Only 2 rules. You have to be an absolute fucking monster, and there's no gooning during raid time. All right. So we just need to find a bunch of mobs here. So apparently this was really buggy and wasn't working a lot last week. So it's going to be really hard to test this. We only really need to see it one time. Wait, the area ahead is dangerous. Oh, god damn it. You can only go in the new zone. Well, how the fuck do I get there? Wait, so they made it so you can level from 83 to 88, but... What? Well, how the fuck do I get in the new zone? Do I talk to someone who ports me there? Campaign helper. Play the Zul'Aman campaign. There we go. Oh, I want to see the new dungeons. We could do that today as well. Oh, it just makes you 83. Hype.
Pleasantries can wait.
First of all, can we queue them at 83? Oh, we can. We can literally just make a character in queue. So we'll probably test these out. I don't really care about any of the questing. I just want to I want to find a bunch of mobs. Enemy nameplates. Why are these not showing up? Maybe because they're like... Did I just mount up in combat in that thing's face? Is something wrong with my nameplates? Oh, it's only when they're in combat with me, maybe? You probably have it set to in combat only. W. Okay, got it. Alright, so let's say I have a bunch of mobs chasing me. So you could use it as an Ursul's Vortex for sure, right? So if all these people are trying to kill spearmen, and I'm like, no, don't kill me. And now they can't leave, right? So it's just like a way bigger... Oh, only one suck, though. So it's kind of like Binding Shot with a suck, kind of, but no stun. It's a pretty big circle, though. It's like pack leader, binding shot. I mean, it's just Ursul's, right? I feel like it's just Ursul's. What happens when you actually hit them with it? So what, they take damage when they're on the inside? No slow component. All right, it's back up. So what happens if they're in the if they're in it? So is it just that they get sucked one time? Okay, getting them all nice and grouped. All right. Now I threw it right on their head. And I'm running. I mean, yeah, it's not like the most broken version of this. Like if it kept sucking them, that would be crazy. But I mean, this is absolutely useful. Like, for example, when we were doing what was the name? Forge Weaver? We would have used this on Forge Weaver for sure. But like, I don't think it would be useful for like Mythic Plus. But like, basically anytime Ursul's Vortex has been good in Raid, this would be good. Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, I think Forge Weaver is kind of the only boss in recent memory where you would have used something like this. Well, I mean, actually, no. There's more reason, right? So let's say they're casting. You can do more with this. Couldn't this be a stop? Because it does stop cast, right? Here, wait till it's up again. It's up in 15 seconds. Like, these guys cast, I believe. So let me get them all together. Let me get them to cast. It's basically A-Bomb's limb, but just static. Like, it just all happens at once. Okay, so I'm going to try to get them all to cast, and then I'm just going to, like... So they're casting. Oh, it doesn't actually grip them. They have to leave to grip. I guess you could put it down and knock them, and then, I mean, like, that wouldn't matter, though. Real notes are posted? Oh, fuck yeah. I think they should probably cook that a little bit. All right, they posted real notes, apparently. This is nice because it'll usually have dev notes explaining some things outside of just the Wowhead data mine. But this is probably going to show everything from before, so you just need to find the post for today. So here's the post from 1 minute ago. Okay, so let's see if there's anything we don't know here. Wait, what? I thought they removed Death Pact. So it says Death Knight class tree. Wait, fuck. In making the text bigger, yeah, okay. Oh, still farther. So the cooldown of Death Pact is reduced by 30 seconds, and you receive 50% increased healing while its healing absorb is active. Again, just another thing that's hilarious to me is that Death Pact is something that DKs laugh at, and kind of always have, as like, why would you ever talent this? But if like, basically every other class in the game, besides like one of them, had Death Pact, it would be a required talent point, and it would be really good for you. So, just very interesting there. But that makes it less punishing and better. So, yeah. There miss sack pack, not Death Pact. Yeah. While you are below 50% health, Death Knight class tree talent point, your ghoul sacrifices 4% of its max health to heal you for 1% HP every second. So you just heal for 1% HP every second as a DK under 50%? That's I mean, they're just so tanky that it doesn't matter. But I'm thinking of like, do you remember how good Second Wind was for warriors back in MoP? I mean, it's kind of like that. But it's like less powerful. Second Wind was stronger than that. Anyways, someone said they loosened add-on restrictions. Maybe we should go right to the bottom. Before we get to the classes, because we already kind of looked at that, let's look at the other stuff. So, wait, so items. Class set and raid weapon appearances will now change after an item has been fully upgraded to 6 out of 6 on its upgrade track. We heard your passionate feedback over the last week, and you enjoy being able to upgrade item appearances by upgrading them item level. We agree this functionality is worth keeping in the game, and we are maintaining that functionality with a clear trigger. Reach the highest level of power within a tier, and you unlock the next tiers. Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. User interface and accessibility. Updated nameplates. This is what I'm looking at, dude. I don't know if they're going to get to where they need to be in 4 months. But if every single week we see something like this, cooldown manager, text-to-speech, updated nameplates, we need something like this on the weekly until this shit comes out for us to even get close. So I'm really glad we're starting off hot. Like, what would have sounded really shit today is like 0 updates at all. Like, there needs to be so much work being done. So, okay. Updated nameplates, added font scaling improvements. Cool. Nameplate stacking behavior has been adjusted to no longer overlap with nameplates and other groupings and are less likely to clump at the top of the screen. Okay, that's fine. Cooldown manager. Debuff tracking will now show stacks of a debuff. Edit mode now allows for width to be adjusted for tracked bars. Okay, we're going to log on and test this. Okay, and then sound clips are now added to sound alerts and text-to-speech added as an option for sound alerts. Oh my god. Okay, we'll definitely check this. We'll see if it works. This stuff wasn't working last week. The sound stuff, the dings. And then text-to-speech. Text-to-speech now supports an overlap flag that allows multiple voices to play simultaneously. Previous text-to-speech only supported queued playback when multiple requests are made. Text-to-speech now supports embedded speech XML to change volume, pitch, emphasis within a single line of text. And fix an issue where this couldn't immediately be sent after this. And, okay, some stuff there. So really nothing major other than debuff tracking on the cooldown manager will now show stacks of a debuff, and before it wouldn't. That's just like a... Okay. Let's log in and... Actually, no. Let's read the rest of this, then we'll log in. But... Hit the last line. Oh. Add-on security changes. Loosened restrictions on various APIs for tooltips and cooldown controls, so add-ons can pass secret values into them. Okay, so I don't know what this means at all because I don't know what these words mean, right? But I need a smart person to tell me what this means. Developers note, stay tuned for many more add-on API changes coming in Alpha 3 and beyond. Okay, great dev note. That just means, guys, we're not done with this shit. We hear you. We are... Keep letting us know if this shit's bad. That's what the Weak Aura guys wanted. I know the Weak Aura guys said the word secret values a lot, so I think it's good. Okay, yeah, but... So I'm a simpleton. I need to know what previously was broken that now will not be. You know what? I still have this call open from last week. My big brain goats. What does it mean? Let's take a picture of it. Any early insight into what will now work? You can use values, but not computationally. I think it still doesn't open the fact that they can track the HP and power. I feel like what's happening is a lot of people here are making stuff up because none of us make add-ons or call from the API. So I'm just going to wait real quick until someone that actually knows what they're talking about tells us what is going on here. Here, someone said in chat was, someone in chat made up, getting player state of buffs, debuffs, and CDs was not accessible. Now this change will likely make it so they will be accessible for Weak Auras to use. And that's kind of I like that. So we're gaining some cybernetic enhancements back. Okay, let's keep looking at some of the notes to see if we read most of these though, so we don't need to look at it a lot, but it's possible there's dev notes that explain some things, and there's also things that it potentially missed. No way they added weak auras back, cowards. Okay, so I'm confused. Unless you're one of the like no add-on truthers where you're just like, I don't want any add-ons for any reason. If that's you, first of all, I don't know why you're watching this stream, but also that's fine. But if you're not that, you're someone who's like, I want problematic add-ons gone. Why would you be mad that people can, like, the WoW in-game UI is getting much better, but people can still customize the UI the way they want to? That doesn't affect you in any way. Why would you not want that? Right? I feel like still having customization is good. They've also said as much. Like Blizzard's, as far as I can tell, Blizzard's stance is, we want you to be able to do everything you've been doing with add-ons. We just want the computational add-ons figuring out mechanics for you and telling you what to do gone from the game. That is their stance. Now, they've said that some things might break while trying to accomplish that, but that's what they want to get rid of. Which, by the way, I'm fully on board with that vision if you can accomplish it. I don't really know how getting from point A to point B there is going to work because I'm an idiot. But if you can do that, that would be amazing, right? Clearly, more things broke than people initially intended, and if they can roll some of that back, it'll be great. I'm just not going to pretend like I know what that means when they wrote it, because I just don't know what it means. Okay, so there's a bunch of new talents. We already read most of these. The main, if you missed it, the main DH change is that Blur has 2 charges now for Havoc and Devourer. As someone who makes add-ons, okay, this looks like a confident makeup. It looks like they're allowing you to grab tooltips and cooldowns in combat. With how it was before, it read that even tooltips of auras would have been secret, which means that any tooltip add-on would break in instance combat. Okay, but what is that? Okay, black and white. Imagine you're talking to a 5-year-old, but I'm not Peyo, and if you talk to me like a 5-year-old, I'm not going to get really mad and slander you and post your picture on Twitter. But like actually, you make add-ons, right? So we now have access to that information. Okay, what does that mean? Like what comes back? Are UI packages back? Like is LVUI going to exist? Can we look at debuffs? Can we make debuffs look a certain way on weak auras again? Like, can't see HP values and stuff, so still no raid frames. It means... All right, has anyone browsing this been able to find something that we didn't cover already that's actually important? Oh, there is a few things right here, right? So at least we have a dev note. We were unhappy with Rescue being occasionally used solely for its absorb effect, so we're redesigning Twin Guardian. The new talent focuses on its value as a way to save yourself or allies who are out of position. And Renewing Blaze was an extra defensive keybind that we felt could be better served as an improvement to Obsidian Scales. If you didn't follow along. So Renewing Blaze is no longer a button you can press, and they baked it into Obsidian Scales, and it's also significantly weaker than it was. The result of this is that Evoker survivability absolutely got nerfed. No question about it. Finally, we're adding some new talent options to increase player choice as they level up. Dude, wait, they nerfed Rescue increases movement speed by 100% and allows spells to be cast while moving for 3 seconds. Dude. So Evokers are losing Renewing Blaze and Rescue Shield? That's actually huge. Like, that's actually huge. They have to kind of bake in some other survivability, honestly, because, like, noobs get absolutely destroyed on this class. So I feel like they need more, for sure. I mean, maybe the argument is they weren't really using these things well, which is probably why they were dying, right? Like, Rescue Shields are extremely OP for staying alive, and maybe the average Evoker was just not doing that. I think it's actually very likely. Okay, let's see. Reload's post. From what they write, it sounds like the same data that was secret is still secret, but it is now available to be used in more functions than it was before. Possibly restoring action bar add-ons. Gonna have to wait until actually seeing the changes, but probably more coming next week anyway. Okay. But I mean, overall good though, right? It shows that we responded with, we're not happy. And Blizzard's response is, okay, we'll do what we can to roll some stuff back. It wasn't the opposite. It wasn't get fucked, right? Let's see. We should continue not being happy. Yeah, I'm sure people... Well, we should continue not being happy if you are playing and you feel like you're missing things. Be very loud on things that you think need to be changed, for sure. Okay, so here's what the geniuses said. They said nothing major. Hopefully Alpha 3 has more. And basically, yeah, Nagi said... Basically, what they typed was, in quotes, we hear you. Like, they didn't really do a lot yet, but they're, like, actively working on more. Okay, W. The sentiment that was shared in the UI Discord was that we'd have to wait until next week for proper changes already. Okay, yeah. Oh, so I was right about the Renewing Mist change. We would like Renewing Mist heal over time effect to matter more in smaller group content without increasing its power and raid. Okay. Okay, Jade Empowerment was redesigned. The dev note, we're trying to slim down the amount of burst healing cooldowns available, but we would like to keep this effect alive and see if we can find a space for it in a more active way. This will not be tuned to surpass or equal Mistweaver's regular rotations damage if it remains a passive like this. With the exception of this may become a primary way we want Mistweavers to deal damage in PvP, in which case PvP modifiers would be used to not affect PvE. Well, then if it's not tuned to surpass or equal its regular rotations damage, then why does it exist? I don't understand Mistweavers. Like, do you use this to heal or something? It's a Giga Burst heal. It's a massive healing CD and oh, it's a 30-second burst CD now. Okay. Megaset was going it over earlier, and she said it was all W. Nice. The slow jams 80 music is funny. Dude, I don't know why, but well, first of all, the Midnight just owns in general, but it's just like perfect yap music. Like, it's just on in the background, and it's, for me, I just love it. I love yapping to the Midnight in the background. Perfect. I fucking hate it low-key, but keep it up, my slime. Yo, my slime. Okay, let's look at the new tier sets. Apparently they announced like 2 of them or something. And then it may be overworking time. Except we need to figure out First look at data mine tier set bonuses. No hero, not hero talent based. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so we see 2. So new unholy, dread plague damage increased by 25%. Virulent plague increased by 25. Oh, consuming sudden doom reducing the cooldown of putrefy. Actually sounds like gameplay wise that would actually feel pretty good. This is one of those ones where after playing Unholy for a little bit, this seems like they would have to bake this into the class after the season, because this just seems like one of those things where, like, if you don't have this, it would just feel way worse. And then Ret Paladin, Expurgation deals 20% increased damage. And then Final's Verdict and Templar's Verdict applies Expurgation at 50% effectiveness, while Divine Storm applies it at 25% effectiveness. That's kind of interesting. Okay. I feel like these are not... So neither of these are, like, crazy complicated. But these do not give me the vibe of, like, the War Within Season 1 tier sets. These kind of seem like they're cooking a little bit. Like, I don't have a lot of information. It's not like they're really doing a lot here, but, like, dude, okay, this we can go back, actually. We will go back and look. Does anyone have the post for the War Within Season 1 set bonuses? But I remember reading them, and, like, the average set bonus was, like, Blade Dance damage increased by 10%, and the 4 set was, like, Chaos Strike damage increased by 10%. It was like classic tier sets, bro. There was nothing. These at least seem like this 4-piece is gameplay. Like, it's actually changing your gameplay. That's a tell, I think. This first one. Also, they are moving away from hero talent tier sets. But also, they may not have actually moved to that. They may have just done that the one time. Like, I don't think they ever said this is what we're doing with tier sets now. And it was in the expansion where they created hero talents, so it's not surprising. Oh, we're just making noises. Arrow. Season 2 tier sets are based off of Apex talents. I don't know about Season 2, but I think you're right. Like, what are the chances? If you were a betting man, would you bet that there's a tier set bonus at some point in Midnight that is focused on Apex talents? I don't want to say it's 100%, but I mean, I would definitely bet money. Like, I feel like it is more than likely that that is true. Because, like, the only reason I would say maybe they won't is that Apex talents are, like, not supposed to be, like, required. Okay, I feel like Blizzard is kind of painting themselves into a little bit of a problem here. Because, like, if you look at Apex talents, some of them are, like, really cool and really fun. Some of them aren't, but I really feel like Blizzard is saying, like, yeah, maybe in some content you won't take all the points and some you will. But I feel like in reality, you kind of have to. Like, I feel like you have to have all your points in Apex talents. Like, I feel like classes are going to be bad and they're not going to spec their Apex talents, and they're just going to be like, see why I'm not good? It's because this other class has good Apex talents and I didn't. And then they're going to get buffed. And it's like, it's kind of for the same concept as this. Like, okay, they rework a class in a new season, like Rogue or DK, or most recently, what was the reworks, right? It was like Brewmaster Monk and Frost DK. And remember, classes have been getting, in quotes, reworked since Dragonflight pretty consistently. And what has happened 90% of the time they're reworked, they're really strong. Why? Because they want the thing that they spent a lot of time and effort on and is new and is being marketed as a thing that's happening in this patch, which they did for all of those. They want people to play them, and people are more likely to play things that are good. Like, if it's really cool and really new and it's, like, undertuned, that's just a thing. People aren't going to want to play it as much, right? I think you could say the same with Apex talents, right? Like, wouldn't it be so lame if Apex talents are like a key feature of the expansion, and then you log in, hit max level, and Wowhead tells you not to talent them? Like, I feel like Blizzard wants to avoid that heavily. But in the scenario where you just spec Apex talents and you don't even think about it, it's also like you're not really gaining a lot of choice. But then like choice is fake anyway. It's like the PoE thing, right? Like PoE, oh, it has this massive skill tree. You have so many options. But like unless you're like two smart people, you just copy a build. So the fact that there are choices actually doesn't matter. A few people actually interact with that. Other than that, it's just like something that happens to you, right? And like WoW talents are like kind of similar. It's just how gaming is. Except for tanks and healers, actually. I think because DPS is so throughput focused and healing in a way is as well. Like sometimes when I look at tank hero talent trees, I'm like, that's actually a cool choice. Like an example would be Guardian Druid. When I played Guardian Druid, I like went up and did up to level 30 keys in season 2 of Dragonflight. And I had like 7 different builds for tanking dungeons, and it was all about mitigating damage in a slightly different way. And that was like all of those choices were very interesting, and I found it really fun to like change your build up before a dungeon based on what you thought would happen, right? Even based on like the healer you had potentially. But like you kind of can't do that with DPS because like throughput is just the end all be all, and as a tank you want to do damage, but at the same time like living is a thing, and having very different ways to mitigate damage is like really fascinating, and those choices are really cool. But like as a DPS, just because of the way people are, damage is king, you can't really have interesting choices like that. It's what they got wrong with like putting defensives and utility in the tree. They realized pretty quickly that damage players hated that choice, but they kept that in for some tanks. Not necessarily utility. I think tanks also feel really bad about picking utility in their spec tree and stuff. It's more about like just mitigating damage is a lot more nuanced than just doing as much single target as you can to a dummy, right? Even to the point where like tank defensive talents and Mythic Plus defensive talents are like really different. There's class Discord builds that are different than streamer builds who are actually doing high keys because they have experience using the talents. There's nuance, right? As like when you have a robot telling you what does the most single target, there's no nuance. Max, do you think that breaking sims might make the game more fun for DPS? Okay, so that's an interesting argument. You can't do that in WoW, so I'm just going to start by saying you can't do that, and if they removed sims now, it would make a lot of people mad, and I don't even know if you could do that and whatever. But like when I've played other games that have like MMO-style talent builds and you can change stuff up, it's really, really fun because you're constantly cooking. Like Tearsland, the fucking meme mobile game, no one knew what any of the stats did, so we were constantly, when we were playing that game all day, every day, we were just like constantly changing our builds because like you were just testing things, and it was genuinely really fun doing that because no one like created a sim for the game because it was so new. But WoW's just been out for so long. Like if it was true in WoW that you couldn't just sim your character and there was a lot more like try it and feel it out, it would add a lot to the game. The problem is it's a 20-year-old game. And you just can't, the cat's out of the bag, you know? You can't like go back to it not being that way. Maybe some of you guys felt this way in Terrasland, right? Like you were playing the Terrasland beta, or not Terrasland, sorry, Fellowship. You were playing the Fellowship beta, and you were like trying, I know I was like trying things out on the Rogue. But like, if that game has been out for not even 20 years, for 5 years, for 1 year, even maybe by the end of the first season, maybe even after the beta for launch, there are going to be people who've tested all this stuff and know what the right talents are. And it's not a try-feely craft thing. It's like once a game isn't new and enough people care about it, that information is just going to be found out, right? It's just kind of the way it is. Cats out of the bag with add-ons too? Yeah. Do cats like going back into bags? What about Lily? Lily, do you want to go in a bag? Hello. She does not. She does. Do any of your dogs like being under covers? And they're like totally comfortable with it? Lily is not a fan. She is she gets very stressed out. Are you sniffing her butt? Bro, we all see that shit. Yeah, go over there. That's embarrassing. Oh, he's got a toy? Hi, Lillian. Come here. Yeah. Hi. She's so needy. Like she'll sit here and get pet, and then if I stop petting her, Hello, human. Hey, hello. Someone's here. Hello, hello, please. I'd like it. People would have to think more if they broke Sims. I mean, yeah, like think about it. You're making a build. Let's say it's like a Windwalker build or whatever. You can read things like, oh, like Rushing Jade Wind. When you use these buttons, you gain a little Rushing Jade Wind around you, and you can read it and obviously think, oh, maybe that would be good in 5-mans. But usually, instead of going into a 5-man and trying this and then looking at how much damage it's doing on details, you just don't have to do that because you can go into a Discord and someone will just tell you it's dog shit or it's awesome. Or maybe you'll just link a talent build, never even read this, and just take it 'cause it's the best thing. And it's just a game that's been out for a long time, and it's been science. There's too much sciencing out. It's all been figured out and it's not like for a bad reason. People just love the game and want to get the most out of it they can, and it's really fun to figure out what's the best. And then, like, once you get into that mindset, though, you just know there's all these really smart people that are able to figure this stuff out, and that wealth of information is always there. Can someone who knows what's going on tell me if weak wars are back or not? I can tell you from the geniuses what they're saying. So basically they said nothing major. Hopefully Alpha 3 has more. They're basically saying we hear you and we're going to have more in the next build. So just be ready for that. And that's basically what they're saying. So nothing major has happened yet. It's just they're basically indicating that they are willing to change stuff based on feedback. They've heard the feedback and they will be rolling some stuff back, but it hasn't happened until next build. So basically hold. We got our first Great Dane a few months ago. Dude, just enjoy the time when they're puppies. I mean, you can enjoy all of the time. But, like, Great Danes are a special level of cute when they're, like, less than a year old. And they don't know how... Their like, paws and legs are much bigger than their body. So they, like, run all funny, like a baby giraffe. And they're just generally very lanky, clumsy animals. And it's very cute. Also, you know how dogs continue to really grow until they're like 2 years old? That is so much more true with a Great Dane. Like, I don't know, like they got massively bigger from like 1 year to 2 year. They basically like linearly grow that whole time. Max, do you think that people giving feedback is a good representation of the majority of the player base? Well, it depends on what you're talking about. Like, feedback a lot of times is hyper-localized into, like, stuff people really care about. So, like, if you're talking about Blizzard receiving feedback, I don't know where they're getting all their feedback from. Like, if you are talking about the stuff you see, so maybe what Wowhead posts, or maybe what you hear in a Twitch chat or a YouTube video, those are usually hyper-specific. And if it's from, like, my channel, it's, like, people who think about playing this game at a high level, very gameplay-focused, all PvE. Right? It's from a very specific lens. Now, if Blizzard only got feedback from people like me, that probably wouldn't be good enough to make the game they're trying to make. It would only be... we only care about such a very narrow section of the game, but we love it, and we're obsessed with it, and read every single note they post about it, right? But, like, WoW's a pretty massive game, and we're not even commenting on most of it. So you're basically asking me to guess what kind of feedback they get and proportionally from how many places. How much PvP feedback are they getting versus quest feedback versus collection feedback, right? I don't know. I don't know how any of us could really answer that question.
They should just make the game how they want to make it. Fuck the player base. I mean, some of the best things that have been created in history were not based on what people were asking you to do. You just created something you thought was cool. But in a 20-year live service game, you probably do need a lot of feedback on direction of the game and stuff like that. But yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of great things are just made. Henry Ford, while a very problematic person, had a quote that went hard as fuck. He said, if I would have made what people were asking me to make, I would have just made faster horses. Saying, like, people didn't know what they wanted. I created vehicles because people couldn't think that far. So, like, some of the, like, big advancements in, like, human history were not because people were asking for them. It was because you just made what you thought you should make, right? I'm sure that applies to games in some way. Henry Ford, my goat. Now, I wouldn't say that. I would do a quick little Google before ripping that for sure, but the quote goes crazy. But they I think that's probably true in a lot of games, you know? See, once you start getting pet, Lily, you just don't know how to stop it. You know? She just wants love, that's all. Wait, did I miss a hunter note? I think I did. New talent, Roar of Sacrifice. Instructs your pet to protect a friendly target, reducing their damage taken by 15%. But 50% of all damage taken by that target is transferred to your pet. It lasts for 10 seconds or until your pet's health drops below 25%. It's a current PvP talent. Yeah, but they added it to PvE. What, so hunters just have an external? That's already a talent? Is it really? It's on the tree already. Okay, let me go to a live talent tree. Roar of Sacrifice. Roar of Sacrifice. 1 minute cooldown. Instructs your pet to protect a friendly target from critical strikes, making attacks against that target unable to be crits, but 10% of all damage taken by that target is also taken by the pet. Okay, so it doesn't redirect damage you're taking to the pet, it just makes you take... It makes your pet take damage, but protects you from crits. And it was something you would only ever take in PvP. What they're doing in the... So why'd you guys make that up? Now what it does is it protects a friendly target, reducing your damage taken by 15%, and then 50% of all damage taken by all that target is transferred to your pet. So I don't know how long your pet's going to be able to last for this. Just reading it, if you're giving an external to someone who's taking a lot of damage, your pet's probably going to get fucking owned by that. Pets have hella HP. I don't know if they have hella HP or do they just not take damage from, like, most abilities in PvE that aren't, like, designed poorly to where they randomly kill your pet. Max, right now I have 16 mil and my pet has 14 mil. I mean, even if you look at this as... you can reduce someone's damage taken by 15% until they take their whole health bar in damage. It's going to be a little bit more than their whole health bar in damage. It's basically like, assuming your pets don't receive any healing, which they probably, I don't know exactly how that works. Even if it was just a 15% absorb, right? Which is kind of what it is, right? Like if it goes away when your pet's below 25 and your pet has just as much health as you and you take 50% of all their damage, that means that if you take 100% of your health and damage, then that pet will be at 50% HP, right? So you can take a little bit more than 100% of your HP and it will give you a 15% DR. So it's like a 20% absorb, 25% absorb technically, assuming your pet isn't being able to be healed at all. That's pretty good. That's like, at least in raid, that would have that would definitely have use. It would never be something that you bring someone for, but it would be something that is nice to have. Right, like the old Rallying Cry line, where like Rallying Cry before it was nerfed was an ability you actually brought warriors in because they had it, and then after they nerfed it, you never brought warriors because you needed a certain amount of rallies. You just were happy to have rally when you brought them. This is certainly, you're happy to have it when you bring them, but yeah. New Hunter's Mark already guaranteed. One Hunter's Mark is the most broken shit of all time. It's like, I actually think Hunter's Mark might be like the single best raid buff. Like, it's kind of hard to argue defensive value, right? Like, how valuable is the fort buff if you weren't going to die? That's technically none. But that's like not how it actually works. Mark of the Wild. Is Mark of the Wild still 3% or did they nerf it to 2? Is it still 3%? Yeah, I mean, so basically, if it's still 3, Mark of the Wild is just Hunter's Mark, but just applies to everything plus gives you a DR, so that's obviously way better. And then, what about Sky Fury? Does anyone know on average how much Sky Fury increases your damage? Actually, we're gonna get a bunch of made up shit, but I believe it's also very good. Max, Hunter's Mark also changes Mythic Plus comps. The 5th spot will almost always be Hunter for more damage. I don't think that's true. Like, Mark of the Wild is a better dungeon buff. Sky Fury is probably a better dungeon buff. Hunter's Mark is going to be good in dungeons, though. Like, just knowing that every boss will die 3% faster than any other class, assuming the single target is tuned similar, like, that has value. The fact that every single pull you're going up to has a target with high health you're trying to kill, just knocking 3% HP off that mob for free, has absolute, just for sure value. Yeah, that's not true. You almost don't press it. Okay, so low keys, if you're just doing farm keys, it has no value. But if you're doing like high level keys, Hunter's Mark, you're slamming that shit on the way into the pull, so you're not losing anything for it. And obviously you get it on bosses for free. It's very, very good. But like most things, your raid buff will most likely not carry you to a spot in Mythic Plus alone. Your class also has to get tuned well, right? Like, even for druids, like, you can't be a Moonkin and just rely on Hunter's Mark, because if one of the other roles is better at bringing Mark of the Wild, then the other role is going to get brought, right? And there's only a few raid buffs in the game that are even kind of like that. Isn't Shaman Sky Fury buff like giga crazy more than people think? Yes, it's just really random. Like, some classes it's worse than Mark of the Wild, but some classes it's like 8%, which is crazy. Just depends on your mastery. Should Hunter's Mark just be an AoE with a cooldown so it applies to an area, not just one target? I don't know. Like, okay, so I guess the purpose of raid cooldowns is to guarantee your class one spot in a raid. And then in my opinion, they should ideally be no better or worse than that. But some of them are obviously way better than that. Right? So it's hard to gauge because, like, I don't know. So you're basically asking, like, could Hunter's Mark just be even better? I mean, my answer would be sure. Like, fucking, why not? But then you could have that same argument about, like, every other raid buff, too. I don't know. Like, it's definitely good enough now where you will never sit a Hunter in a raid ever. I have a question. If Hunters were not sat during the Race to World First on Dimensius, do you guys think they would have buffed Hunter's Mark? I feel like they might have still, I guess. But if you ask what prompted the change, like, the only incentive they have to buff a raid buff is to make sure it actually gets you in the raid. And up until this raid, Hunter's Mark put you in the raid with their old introduction of it, right? And then now they made a fight where it wasn't good enough. And due to their tuning or whatever, they weren't good enough that week. P1 was too hard. And then it was interesting. You starting from the second week on Dimensius, it was actually correct to bring a Hunter. It was just for the World First race. I don't know. I think it's pretty likely. I think it's pretty likely that is the reason it got changed. Are we listening to live versions of Midnight songs now? Are we just... Is it playing a live album? It is. Nah. Max, sorry to be off topic, but on Wowhead, there is now a roadmap for Alpha with 5 phases. I think we already had that. But does this mean Alpha is only 5 weeks? I don't know. Oh yeah, I wanted to log in and see the text-to-speech stuff. Wait, incompatible again? Was there another update? Must have been. Is it just broken? Go to beta on the bottom. That doesn't do anything. You didn't select the realm tab? It doesn't matter. These are not... It's this. I mean, I can try to log in. I think it's broken. Maybe I can relaunch my BattleNet's the only thing I can think of, but it might just be cooked. Servers were up and then just went down. Oh, okay. Max, do you think that it's more or less important for pure DPS classes to have raid buffs? You don't even have to say pure DPS classes. I think it's important for everyone to have a raid buff while they're doing the everyone has raid buffs things. You could make an argument like no one should have raid buffs. Like, cool. But, like, clearly that's not happening, so that's not really worth talking about. Like, with them, the direction they're going now, it doesn't matter if you're a pure DPS class, if you're a hybrid class, whatever. Like, everyone should have a raid buff because that's the way you've made the game. Yeah, I think Alpha is just down right now. Max, do you think they are splitting the raid releases so they can tweak the bosses as they learn what you guys are capable of? No, I mean, actually, when they split the raids, I thought it had something to do with, like, design of when players should be in raids or trying to reduce split raids and just trying to improve the raid economy, like what it's like to raid in this game, like by splitting them. But it turns out there was no consideration of any of that. It's purely a story reason why we are doing the third raid 2 weeks later. And before you ask a follow-up question of like what will this do to the race, I have no idea, but it's almost certainly gonna be really weird and bad. But you know. All right. Hopefully it's up. Nope. Not sure if it's been asked yet. With the decrease in complexity of both classes and tracking, what's the assumption that higher tier content will become unfathomably hard for people trying to break into it? I'm just going to stop you right there. You mentioned the decrease in complexity of both classes and tracking. So you, among a lot of other people, have been majorly misled. That's just... If your idea is, if you're an average player in this game, like you just play the average class... you're going to log into midnight and the game's just going to be much more complex. You got like propaganda. That's just not happening. Like there are specifically 2 specs and like a third one that's not as bad but still bad that got majorly dumbed down in ways that were probably an accident. And they're still like, potentially adding some stuff back. But like for like every single other spec in the game, the idea that there was like a decrease in complexity is just like made the fuck up. Like we went over this over the weekend and the average spec is like the same and some got a little harder, some got a little easier. What they did is majorly reduce redundancies in a lot of cases. But like the idea that like the way you put it, right? Like, well, we're going to be like going into raids now with like easier classes. That's just like not true. It's not your fault though. That was the narrative last week. It's not like you're stupid or something. It's just that's just not what actually is happening. If nothing is getting easier and there's no add-ons to help, isn't it just going to push most people away from the game further? I also think that's like hyperbole. What I'm expecting is to log into midnight into it and for it to just feel like basically what WoW has felt like for a while. It's going to be like basically the same thing. There might be some difficulty moved in different places. Like if there's no computational auras and stuff, maybe like some content is not going towards mechanics that would have required those. But like I don't know how much easier that's going to be. They've made insanely hard raid bosses that basically don't require weak auras in any way, shape, or form. Right? It's probably going to feel like exactly the same. And if anything, we're just going to have to wait and see it because there's too many moving parts. There's like too many things like getting changed in way, like difficulty potentially going up or down, right? I just want to be able to track my own buffs the way I want. Yeah, and you might be able to. Like they're rolling back some add-on restrictions, and who knows exactly where that's going to end, but it is possible that you will be able to track your own buffs and stuff. We don't know yet. Banger tweet. Weak Auras just tweeted no. Oh, they're probably just getting infinite questions about whether Weak Auras is back yet because of this post. They won't know until next week. All right. I'm going to do one more check for the realms. If the realms are not up, I'm probably out of here. Although I am potentially going to play Blue Protocol tomorrow. And we're either going to get a sponsored stream before then. That would be fucking nice. Get some free money. Or if I don't get sponsored, then I can just be completely objective about the game and almost certainly complain tomorrow when I get level capped. People are on alpha. What I'm assuming is the case, rescan your alpha. No. What I'm assuming happened is, like, if you were in alpha, it's fine. Like, the realms didn't go down. It didn't kick you out. But there was some kind of weird... Oh, it's checking for updates longer than normal. Nope, says up to date. We'll see. Just do it. They just updated it. I'm giving this one more try. Yeah, nah. Ain't working. Their shit's bugged. Either way, all good. We have other days to test this stuff out. All right. All right, love you, bye.